What is up, RotoGrinders? Dean here, Dean7904. That is the daily fantasy handle you'll see around the industry. Hopefully, we'll see the top one of the contests going down tonight on DK, on Fanduel. Joining me today, millionaire winner, one-time millionaire winner, Andre. I say one time because we got Cheese, Dave Potts on layaway, two-time winner. Had to show you up there, Andre. At Drizzy26_DFS on the old Twitters. Andre, you just ran upstairs. We just talked about this. You make a list for every single slate or every single show, I suppose. You're old school with the pen and paper. You got all your homers written down. We grabbed that right before the show. That's why we're a couple minutes late. We apologize. We're still here for 2 hours plus. But Andre, how was your All-Star break? And yeah, I'm just the old school pen and paper. I like it. I'm impressed by that.
Yeah, gotta keep it simple, keep it sharp in my brain at the same time, because otherwise I'd forget. So I like to make sure, I write these plays down so I can try to mix and match them together and try to give the people something to win. So I'll have that actually out in a little bit for some guys in scores and odds. If you guys want to check out that home run play parlay, it'll be out there in a little bit. But yeah.
It's a good day for homers and a bad day for homers. Like, there's some really, really good pitching. Obviously, a lot of the rotations reset at the All-Star breaks. We're seeing a lot of number ones. We'll talk about that in a second. But weather-wise, if you pull up the old Kevin Roth, chief meteorologist, weather edge, fire emojis. I'm not going to count the one in Cincinnati. That's a 6:40 game. We're not talking about that. That's not in the main slate. But we got a fire emoji there in weather edge. We have fire emoji in Baltimore, fire emoji in Philly, in Boston, in New York, in Atlanta, in KC, where it's almost like 100 or something like that. The White Sox as well. So, some really, really good pitching, but also some great hitting weather as well. We got TJ. By the way, I watched your show earlier today, TJ and Andre. If you guys aren't aware, on Friday, it's TJ. You tell the people what's the name of it? The Fanduel Friday show. What's it called?
Fanduel Friday strategy show, of course, sponsored by Fanduel, just like these in crunch time, while we're getting them for free, and it's a fun one. We kind of take a first look at the slate and not only go position by position, talk our favorite stacks and pitchers, but really just dive into the strategy and kind of how we want to get different than the field.
Do want to say what's up to those in chat. Apologies for jumping on a few minutes late, but again, we're here for the next 2 hours plus. Feel free to fire off whatever thoughts, whatever questions you have regarding the slate. Try to keep them on topic. If we're talking about first baseman, that'd be great to talk about first baseman. If we're talking stacks, throw out some stacks. So that kind of works, makes it easier for the conversation. Follow TJ at TJ_Zwarich5. TJ, also, you're hard at work. Well, a lot of content for you because you knocked out your Agents of Fandom article. That's free for the people. I'll go ahead and drop it in chat. I have it on the ready. You probably do too, but have it ready.
I didn't today.
Well, there, I got you. I'm all about synergy. Why not? We're all in the same umbrella. I want to help you out.
You crushed it, and I appreciate it because, Agents of Fantasy article is out. I wrote that today, but it's been a very busy day because today, this weekend, San Diego Comic-Con, and so Marvel, Star Wars, DC, they're releasing all kinds of news and new shows popping up. So I've been busy at work for the Agents of Fandom, and we're doing a live stream tomorrow on YouTube and Twitch. No. But we're like kind of live streaming all the content, breaking down all the news as it drops tomorrow. So that'll be a lot of fun. But today's baseball day, and we're gonna get back to that tomorrow.
The Lord of the Rings prequel, that's kind of a big deal, right? No, not Lord of the Rings. I'm sorry. The Game of Thrones prequel is a big deal going on.
And Lord of the Rings, both.
Oh, there's one that's on Amazon, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I did not enjoy Lord of the Rings. I didn't get it, man. It was not for me.
Me personally, I'm not a big Lord of the Rings guy, but it's been a fun little stretch of fandom and sports crossover because obviously there's so much going on in the fandom world, and qualified for my first ever ticket to a live final. So I'm going to be headed to September for the World Fantasy Baseball Championship, sponsored by Fanduel in September here, and that's going to be a lot of fun.
That's right. Congratulations on that. Now I got to start buttering you up to get position myself. If 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people cancel, if you need like emergency +1, I'm on the ready, man. My bags are packed. I'm good to go. Just so you know.
My fiance's already locked in. It's about 3 weeks after our wedding, so we're gonna turn it into a little honeymoon-esque weekend.
But if you win another ticket, you know what I mean? Then all of a sudden we'll have a conversation.
Yeah, that's fair. If I'm bringing you to the live final, you better be making that trip down for my wedding.
I mean, first of all, I mean, could you be any further away? You're in Saskatoon. You're all the way on the West Coast, essentially, in Canada. And
yeah, where do you live?
I'm currently right now in Colorado. I'm in Colorado Springs
you're
right now.
still there?
Yeah. I'm house/dog sitting. I'm Brant's dog's right in front of my face right now, and he's being a good boy, and he's not doing anything too crazy. But yeah, I decided to let the door open. He likes to stay by me. He likes to hang out. I'm pretty sure I've superseded Grant in the power rankings, if you ask his dog. But yeah, we'll see how that goes down. But yeah, I'm currently in Colorado Springs. It's lovely right now. But
So
I would love
pretty
to go
close to me right now. That's not that far.
Say it again.
You're decently close to me. That's not that far.
Yeah, it's not too far. It's a bit of a trek, I suppose. But yeah, I wasn't going to come out here for like a few days. And Grant's on his honeymoon. He's like, "You want to watch this thing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I'm a big fan of dogs, so let's have a good time. We've been hanging out. We've been bonding the last week or so, and I'm here for the next week or so, give or take. We'll see how it goes. I see Kirkwood in chat. Why is Spidey not your +1? Why is Spidey not an option?
Well, that's the benefit of him being plush is I can bring him, and he doesn't even count as the +1. I can just drop him right in my baggage, and he doesn't even require a plane ticket. But I actually do have a fun little addition to the Spidey collection.
What do you got?
We got a new Spidey here that can help give us some picks today.
Okay, there you go. But Bo, you mentioned Comic-Con. It just reminded me of a story when I was. I've taken several road trips with my buddies to go hit a different ballparks, and we were in San Diego.
15-hour drive from Denver to me. That's not that much.
15 hours? That's an excursion, man.
It's not that bad.
I've never driven. I mean, I've driven cross country a couple of times, but I take my time, like 8, maybe 10 hours tops. And I need to relax. I need to chill. I got to hit the hotel and just like, I can't do that for like, I know a buddy of mine who like drove from South Florida to Vegas, like all straight through. Like, I can't do that. That's just not for me.
When I was in high school, I played on a basketball team that would drive every year from where I lived to Spokane, Washington to Gonzaga for a tournament. And we did that. Like I coached that team for a couple of years after too. So made that trek about 6 years in a row. It's about an 18-hour drive.
Oof. Andre, you ever do an 18-hour drive? I can't do that.
I've done from New York to Florida multiple times, and New York to Georgia multiple times. By myself, straight through, the furthest I've done is, I would say, from Vegas all the way to the Bay Area, nonstop.
The Bay Area is San Francisco or San Diego?
San Francisco.
Okay. Yeah, I've never been to San Francisco. One of these days, we'll knock that out. I saw my 18th ballpark. I saw the Rockies. So that awesome. Super. Very much recommend Coors Field. By the way, it's vaulted to my top 3. I would say. I think I have Pittsburgh #1 still, just because that view in Pittsburgh is incredible. You wouldn't think so, but like it looks fake in the background as far as the bridges. I don't know. Andre, favorite ballpark you ever been to? You got one?
I've been to a lot myself. I'm trying to get to the same amount of view. Or I'm probably in double digits right now. But my favorite, I would say like if we want to go classic, I would say probably the like old Yankee Stadium or old Shea Stadium was really good here in New York. But
I thought Shea was a dump. It wasn't a dump.
I liked Shea when I was younger, growing up. I was a kid though too. So if you remember, those are good old days when your kids going to the ballpark. And then probably after that, I would say I don't think Camden Yards is actually not a bad stadium either. I actually kind of enjoyed that too. A couple years ago, well, probably about like 10 years ago now. I went there, but it was really, really nice.
It's like 30 years old. It's held up incredibly. It looks awesome. It's got that kind of old school feel to it, obviously as well.
Yeah. Arizona Stadium was good too. The Diamondback Stadium is nice too.
Yeah. Did you hang out by the pool?
No, I didn't get to go by the pool. I actually got there like in the 6th, 7th inning because me and my friends we had a wild day. I guess say just day party. Shout out to Arizona and Scottsdale.
How about you, TJ? Have you been around as far as the ballpark? So obviously there's not many close to you.
I've only actually been to one baseball game ever, and it was Yankees versus Mets in Yankee Stadium.
Oh wow!
Wow. Okay.
That's amazing.
Severino versus Syndergaard. It was a good game.
Oh man,
it was a fun one too because like it was you had your pitchers duel for the first 6 innings, and then after the relievers went in, I think the game ended 5-4. So like you got to see your aces be aces, and then got to see some runs after that. It was a pretty good time.
Doug is talking about Tiger Stadium. I just remember like Cecil Fielder hitting homers like over the roof in Tiger Stadium. Like the stands like kind of like right on top of the outfield. That's a nice ballpark too in Detroit. So another one that's kind of underrated, I would say. They're asking in chat, by the way, about the Beat Mean Dean contest. Yeah, I should have set that up and should have had to go down tonight. My apologies. We're going to run it back. That's not going away. And yeah, T from LOC was asking if I'm still undefeated. Yes, I will put my undefeated crown on the line. And if you guys beat me, call me out. I hand select you, that kind of thing. We give you 1 month free. 1 month free of RotoGrinders Premium. That's not just baseball. It's all the sports, everything you can think of, with the exception of NASCAR. NASCAR is a la carte. All right, let's dig in. Let's talk about tonight's slate. We were kind of talking about a pre-show, TJ. It's there's some really, really good pitching. I don't think there's a clear enough, like there's a lot of offenses to like, but there's no offense that's jumping off the page. Last I checked, I don't think any team has a total above 5. Maybe the Yankees jumped up to above 5 if we had a refresh. But basically, there's no team has a total above 5. Yeah. But, certainly the Yankees against Tyler Wells in a good ballpark. And Wells looks like regression monster is coming. If you look at his advanced data, been super, super lucky this year. But, yeah, and of course we have some awesome studs going down tonight. Ohtani, Burns, well-positioned. Picking on that Angels lineup, which is just horrendous. The absence of Mike Trout, especially from a strikeout perspective. So, Charlie Morton, I know, well-positioned too. And Max Scherzer's been a beast since coming back, from his injury. Yeah, so give me your screenshot here, TJ, because it feels really, really wide open.
So from a pitching standpoint for me today, we are going to have a very, very quick and easy time playing the who's in your pitching pool game today.
Yeah.
I'm playing 150 today. Dre and I were talking earlier. I wasn't going to, but then I liked the format of the slate, and so I'm going to do it. I'm personally not a big top-heavy contest guy. We got a nice top-heavy one on FanDuel today, 40K up top. So even though that's not really my thing, it's still a little enticing. And, of course, hey, hit the like button. Every 50 likes, we're going to drop another Spidey Bomb today. And we already got almost 150 people watching. So lots of Spidey Bombs coming today with the new Spidey figurine we got here. And from a pitching standpoint, I'm keeping the pool tight. I think I'm only going to be playing 5 guys in my pitching pool. And then I'm going to be differentiating my offenses, but in a tight pool. I got about 7 or 8 stacks that I like quite a bit, and I'm going to be going heavy on those 7 or 8 stacks, but I'm going to be differentiating throughout them.
Yeah, pulling up the ownership stuff, and again, it's not that hard to make stuff work. And okay, Andre, let's play the game. I think it's pretty clear, and I think he actually mentions it in his article. If you guys read his article, if you want a little cheat sheet, but again, if you're going to pay up for pitching, it's pretty clear who the haves are, who the have-nots are. FanDuel specific, Andre, who do you think is in TJ's pool? If he's got 5 guys, you probably can run them off, pretty simply, I think.
Yeah, because I have the same 5 probably too. So we were pretty in sync on what I think our pitching pool is today. So I'm gonna say Corbin, Burns, Charlie Morton, Max Scherzer, Shohei Ohtani, and the one and only Kevin Gausman.
Bingo.
So what's wild is those guys are grabbing all the ownership essentially. Burns, and this obviously, the closer we get to lock, the more refined it gets. And that it seems a little bit extreme to me. Burns 11.3K on FanDuel, facing just a putrid Rockies team. It's just horrendous on the road. He's well positioned from a run prevention perspective, from a strikeout perspective. Nobody has a longer leash, I don't think, on this slate than Burns. 33% as far as his ownership on FanDuel. We'll talk about on DK in a second. Morton at 24%, you're getting a bit of a discount at 9.8K. And again, the Angels, that lineup is so bad. And you fire up the old plate IQ, you could stretch it back, the last year if you want. You want just this year specifically. We know Trout's, I believe he went on the IL. I'm pretty sure he's not available. Luis Robert, by the way, just went on the IL as well too, if you guys are not aware, for the White Sox. This season, this lineup strikeouts almost 31% of the time against standard righties. And Morton's at 27.1%. And if you just, wanted to look at of late, how was he recently? 31.5% in the last 30 days. The only guy that makes contact consistently on this Angels team is Luis Rengifo. He's horrendous. He's not necessarily going to strike out. He'll pop out, he'll ground out and things like that. But you're not afraid of that bat. But just the rest of it is so bad. Marsh, a 40% strikeout rate in the last 30 days. That's 54 at bats. And sample size is not huge, but you can even stretch it back to the last 2 seasons. we're looking at 29.4%. TJ, like that is, I feel like we've never seen numbers this astronomical for a collective team.
So my thought process with this slate, we're already getting a lot of QQs in the chats of like thoughts on this pitcher, thoughts on this pitcher. My thoughts on everyone outside of that top 5 is the same. And it's maybe they project pretty well points per dollar wise, but I don't think anybody has the same slate breaking upside as these high end guys. And I'm going to be equal with the field on Charlie Morton. I will be a little bit under on Corbin Burns. And that's because I'm going to be over on Max Scherzer and Shohei Ohtani, specifically Ohtani. Ohtani has the best strikeout matchup on the slate. Yes, it's dangerous against Atlanta, but that's also keeping people off of him a little bit. And he's going to be the one that I'm most overweight on. Morton's my heaviest owned pitcher, but and Burns is going to be 4th. But I'm going to be over the field on Scherzer and Ohtani, and I just simply don't think anybody else, like there's guys like Uriquity and Braxton Garrett that it's like, yeah, maybe I kind of want to take a chance on because maybe they do pretty well. But Zach Gallen is another one, but their ceilings are 50 like for FanDuel scoring, and the other guys are 70. And I just don't have interest in getting to them when I want to differentiate at my for hitters today, and there's just so many elite pitchers.
By the way, you said Ohtani's the best strikeout matchup on the slate. He doesn't. He's got the best strikeout percent, but like it's Morton on the other side. It's got the best strikeout matchup, right? The matchup's fine against Atlanta, but it's not as strong. Is that what I just want to make sure that's what you're trying to say.
Is it over 24%? Oh yeah, holy crap! The Angels. Yeah, sorry, I forgot how ridiculously bad it is. Yeah, so the Braves are the best strikeout matchup in the MLB, like from a average lineup standpoint. But yes, this Angels lineup today is without a doubt the worst one.
Yeah, I think Morton's going to be the most I think that ownership's going to flip a little bit. I'm not certain, but 33% on Burns, 24% on Morton. And again, that's more so on FanDuel where you're getting a significant discount. Burns is 11.3, Morton 9.8, Scherzer 11.5, Ohtani 11K. And you're saying like you're going to be over on Ohtani. It's not hard to be over on Ohtani, assuming our number is correct. And again, this stuff may change, but we're less than 6% on Ohtani right now, which that's just really low. His form of late has been spectacular too. If you want to go last 30 days, have some fun with that. He's been completely insane. Okay, so Andre, last 30 days for Ohtani. You want to know take a guess what his K percent is? It's ridiculous.
Did we lose Andre?
We might have lost Andre. Okay, I wasn't watching the video. Okay, so TJ, what would you guess Ohtani's strikeout rate is the last 30 days? I know it's been spectacular, but I just pulled it up and like it's insane.
39%.
46%.
I tried to guess something high that was still under it to kind of give you that it's even better. And yeah, he's been absolutely spectacular. He might give up a couple bombs, but he's my favorite tournament pitcher on the slate.
Let me jump over to DraftKings. I know we're talking about FanDuel as far as ownership, and a lot of it is like parallel. Of course, on DK, the ownership's going to be higher because he's got to rust two of these guys. We have Burns at, again, the prices are a little bit more compressed, right? Burns is 10.2. Morton is 8.8. Again, you're going to get a discount on Morton. I think that's the clear, like if you're playing cash games, Burns and Morton is your combination on DK. We're seeing Burns at 46% ownership in tournaments. That's a big number. But again, he's really, really well positioned. He's just awesome. Morton at 39%, Scherzer at 33, 10.4K. So he's more expensive than Burns. And I just think Burns is, better positioned. I love Scherzer. He's awesome too. Nice ballpark as well to pitch, throw baseballs in. And Ohtani, you're getting a nice discount there at 9K. I think that's a little low on Ohtani, less than 18%. And you're playing FanDuel only, is that correct?
I am, yeah. But even on DraftKings today, I think from a tournament standpoint, you just simply play Scherzer and Ohtani instead of Morton and Burns. And all of a sudden, you don't have to worry about the ownership in the rest of your lineup. And I mean, I think Ohtani is actually... and I understand from a cash game perspective why you don't want to go there, but like I do put him in the same boat as Burns and Morton today. And I just love Scherzer in tournaments on DraftKings where he's not going to be where he's not going to be played at the same rate as Burns, Ohtani, and Morton. Like even on DraftKings today, I think I would still include Gaussman in that pool, but guys like Tyler Anderson, Lucas Giolito, Zach Gallen, like the cheapies like Kyle Gibson, who might pick up a little ownership. Like I'm out. Like I want to just play these top 4 guys.
I disagree. What we have right now, we have Scherzer at 34% and Ohtani at 18%, and I agree with you. What you're suggesting, Ohtani's got to be higher than that, and I think Scherzer's going to be lower than that.
Yeah, and if he's not, like, damn, it just reaffirms Ohtani as my favorite tournament pitcher on the slate.
I think you can work in, if you're running a bunch of lineups, you can work in Zach Gallen, like a significant discount at 7.6K. Giolito, he's shown flashes, obviously not a great strikeout matchup against Cleveland, but, he has his moments. Again, you're getting a decent enough discount. It's not a cash game thing, but I think they're in the mix. They're in the pool. And like you said, there's some names being thrown out in chat. But I should mention this. We're showing off the Lineup HQ tool. We're talking about a lot of the things we have, a lot of tools we have. You guys want to use it at your own leisure. You can get it right now. You can win it for free. How do you go about doing that? You jump into the RotoGrinders Discord channel, rotogrinders.com/Discord, and you go to the live stream chat channel, and you just click the party popper. Producer Devin is feeling generous, and he's giving away RG Premium, a week free of RG Premium. All you got to do is click that bell, and you're eligible. And I don't know if he's giving away 1 or 2. I've not seen confirmation. Devin is lurking in the chat. He'll let you all know. But again, all you got to do is jump in the Discord channel, rotogrinders.com/Discord, and go to the live stream chat and click that party popper bell. I'm not sure if it's dropped just yet. I saw in chat, he said he's starting in 15 minutes. So I don't know if that was 15 minutes ago. But yeah, Devin's going to do 2 winners. There you go. Feeling especially, we're back from the All-Star break. Sure, why not? Let's give 2 winners away. I'm taking a peek at our video. It appears that Andre is still not with us. Is that correct? That's confirmation. All right. It's an intimate show. The 2 of us. It can be. This is going to be how it's going to. We're going to be hanging out in Chicago. Just kicking it.
Just the 2 of us, you and I. Yeah. But I mean, on the bright side, it's never good to lose a mind like Andre. But on the bright side, him and I had almost all of the exact same takes this morning on the FanDuel Strategy Show. We were really on the same page. So hopefully I'll be able to bring that extra energy until he gets back. We got over 200 people watching now. Hey, there he is right now. We got over 200 people watching right now.
The benefits of working for the cable company. How
there it is. 5 likes away from our very first Spidey Bomb of the day. So hit the like button.
Andre, you work for the cable company and you got a guy that can hook you up? Like you have a special warp zone of some sort where you can just, hey, make this work for me. I'm doing a show. Hook it up.
No. Oh, no, that would be too much. I know how to troubleshoot my devices and get it back working. So I just had to unplug my devices and let them resync again and get it back working appropriately.
I just restart the router, and sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, and then I got nothing. That's the only thing I have.
Yeah.
But yeah, Andre, your thoughts as far as are you focusing mostly on panel today, or DK, or you're all over the place, or what?
I have both up, so I could do both, cover both. Honestly, like I'm not playing tonight because I'm going to be going out afterwards. But if I was playing, it would be mainly on FanDuel. But my pitching pool is the same, like I mentioned before, as TJ. Burns, Morton, Scherzer, Shohei, and Gausman. Gausman being one of my favorite tournament plays that's going under the radar. At 10.1K on FanDuel. I think this is an excellent price when against Boston. And he's played against them 3 times. I think it has not had no lower than, I want to say, like 8 or 7 strikeouts, I want to say, against them. So I kind of like the matchup for him there a little bit. Seems like he has their number right now this year, so I would ride that a little bit, and I would definitely use him in tournaments on DK too at 9.1K to scale a little bit different. And I think that can help you separate yourself from the top today as well.
Yeah, best start we've seen in a while, Gausman versus Boston. TJ, talk about your boy Gausman on your Blue Jays. He got hit in the heel, was removed from a game. He was tipping pitches allegedly, which is part of the reason why he's been scuffling. But is he now in the bucket of like guys we can trust? And again, it's not a significant discount. He's 9-1 on DK, basically the same price. He's more expensive than Ohtani. But I guess it's an ownership thing, and we've seen him flash that ceiling. Gausman, what percent you think you're going to have at Gausman tonight?
I'll probably have about 5%, which I'm comfortable with because that'll be at minimum double the field. And so he's somebody that I feel the least comfortable with of the top 5 guys, but he is that 5th guy for me because he has the ability to flash that same ceiling. He's done it in matchups against Boston this year. He's fixed the tipping pitches issue he has. The only reason I'm not super strong on him is because it's a matchup against Boston and it's super hot and humid there. So he's definitely in my pool. He's one of the only 5 pitchers there, but he will be my least owned of the group.
Yeah, we got Kirkwood and chat, boots in the ground, confirming it's hot and it's humid. And again, Roth gave it it's got the old fire emoji in Boston as well. No George Springer in that game. Just I guess he's a little bit beat up, right, TJ? He's not 100%. They just want to give him another day, I suppose.
Yeah, as far as I know.
Yeah. Other names that are being thrown out in chat. And again, I know you're just kind of stopping there, and I'm probably stopping there too. Here's a good question, TJ. Single entry, big hurt in chat wants to know. Big Frank Thomas fan, I suppose. Favorite stack FanDuel single entry. And so basically he wants you to build a lineup because he's like favorite stack single entry on FanDuel and favorite pitcher on FanDuel. So how would you handle that question?
I would say check the Agents of Fantasy article and you can build based on that pretty easily. My favorite pitcher for single entries on FanDuel is definitely Shohei Ohtani. And my favorite stack is maybe Arizona, but I think probably Philly if I had to choose one.
Yeah, Philly's a tricky one as well, too. Their best hitter left on left. And that doesn't mean you can't roster Scherzer. Obviously, Schwarber, missing Harper as well. That lineup kind of falls off pretty fast. Great ballpark, though, and great weather. Castellanos, FanDuel specific, is super, super cheap. If you're playing cash games over there, I'm not. But I feel like he'd probably land in my lineup. I want to say he's 2.5. Is that correct, TJ?
Yeah, he's wildly, wildly cheap. He's somebody that I think I will only include in stacks today and not in one-offs just because he's probably going to be – we're not projecting him to be very chalky right now, so maybe not. But he's just way, way, way too underpriced, and I think he's one of the first players you put into cash games today.
Yeah, that makes sense to me as well. Devin in the chat's letting us know the Discord giveaway is live and free. Again, you can get yourself 1 week free of RotoGrinders Premium. You can get all the tools. And it's not just baseball. It's everything across the board. All the sports you can have at it. Of course, no NFL just yet, but I'm sure there's PGA. I'm sure there's MMA stuff. You get 1 week free. You can use the optimizer, use all the tools, the projections. You can get the rankings, all that good stuff. Just jump in the Discord, rotogrinders.com/Discord. Live stream chat channel. There's a party popper thing. You just click on that. It's dummy proof. I can figure it out. You all can figure it out. Eric wants to know. He's got a bunch of pictures here, Andre.
Yeah, I saw that. I was just about to mention. I like Cole Irvin. I like him more so on DK against Texas. I think that's a good matchup. I would be on him for sure. I think he's someone you should have in your pool for that site, especially with the 2-pitcher site. Kyle Gibson as well is another option I think I like that people should be on going against Chicago. I know it's a little bit of risk there with the weather, but I still think he's a good pitcher there. And Spencer Howard, he's just too cheap, 5-1 against Oakland. Just take the chance on him. It's Oakland. Oakland has. I know you like Oakland, Eric. I know you love him, but
he's not going to be happy hearing that. Yeah,
I think you just got to play him, especially if you're trying to get all these bats into your lineup on DK today.
There's such a big opportunity cost, and I'm curious. This is a good question in chat. I believe it was Matt who was asking it. Yeah, if you had to predict one of the top starting pitchers to get hit very hard, Andre, pick one of the top guys. What's the most likely guy to get hit hard?
Shohei.
Yeah, that would have been my answer too, and I don't feel good about it. But if you're going to force me to pick somebody, I'm not going to say Burns. I'm not going to say Charlie Morton.
Yep.
Right.
I'm not
going to say Scherzer.
Yeah, it just makes sense because, then I think I mentioned that before too. Shohei's a great pitcher. He has probably he's definitely one of the best strikeout pitchers in the league today for sure. But one thing I definitely have noticed about him is that when he gets blown up, it's nothing. It's not subtle. It's very, very big, and it happens very quickly. It just goes really, really fast. So that's the reason why I would say, it's a double-edged sword. He's the best pitcher, but he also can get blown up. I wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta what's the highest scoring stack today and put up 10 runs because they just found a way to get to him today. I know it happened with him last year against the Yankees. He was in a good spot, and because Yankees, they were last year were just a more right heavy lineup, and did strike out a lot, but they just got to him and was able to hit a lot of home runs. So it just really depends on the day for Shohei, but it seems like he's been a lot more consistent. So that's one thing I can say about him. So, but that'll still be the guy I would pick to get blown up a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I would just bet on the Braves before I'm betting on the Rockies and before I'm betting on, the Angels. It's sort of like, yeah, I mean, I love Ohtani. He's awesome, but I'll bet on Acuna, Swanson, Olsen, Riley, d'Arnaud. They get to that bullpen. It's hot as well, too. It's a good ballpark. So if you're going to force me to choose, how about yourself, TJ? You have an answer on that?
Yeah, I guess it's the same, but I definitely like the Ohtani side a lot more than I like the Atlanta side.
In chat, Mark's mentioning, hey, what about Darvish? And I guess we kind of ignored him, and I think he's in a little bit lower tier. Like, he's been pretty good of late, and you don't really want to pick him a match.
He's been good as late, but he still doesn't flash the same ceiling that these other guys do.
Yeah,
that's why it's just X for me, and that's the same as DraftKings with all these cheap guys for me too. Though it's like, yes, all these 5K, 7K, 8K guys, they absolutely could get there. I just don't think they could blow up the slate like these other guys can. Like, if I get 25 from a cheap pitcher, but I get 40 from my two expensive ones, I don't really think there are bats you need to pay up for today. So I would just rather take my points up there pitching.
Yeah, Big Hurt saying, TJ, tell them they're wrong. I don't think you said we're wrong, which is, and it's Darvish again. Like, he's been good. I don't love the matchup. The ballpark, of course, is good to pitch in. But he's also the same price essentially as all those guys, and you're not going to roster him. If you're playing 150, I guess, if you want to pinch, but I don't think he's the top guy amongst those five. He could be the third guy. He could be the second guy. He's probably not the top guy amongst that grouping. They're asking, Derek in chat wants to know about the umpire data. I did notice there was a lot of extremes today, actually. And always, when they're starting new series, just be aware this stuff can change. The umpire stuff can change. After the first game where they're going to go, but sometimes this does change late. But we have a lot of extreme umpires, extreme hitters umpire today for Charlie Morton, for Tyler Anderson, for Logan Webb, for Shohei Ohtani. So there's another reason why I suppose if you want to factor that in. Drew Rasmussen, again, that ballpark looks like it's going to score some runs today, despite the fact that Tampa Bay and KC not the most opposing of lineups. So that environment is great for hitting. Not a great ballpark, but it's super hot in KC today. So yeah, extreme hitters environment for Keller, Rasmussen, Ohtani, Webb, Morton, and Tyler Anderson. There are a couple extreme pitchers umpires for Eovaldi, for Gausman, Cole Irvin, and Spencer Howard. And like TJ, that's the thing. Law of averages, two of like Spencer Howard, Cole Irvin, Zach Thompson. They're going to be okay. But is okay even good enough? Is your question?
That's exactly it. I think the answer is no. To me, there's no way that one of these top guys doesn't just absolutely put up a monster game. They might not all do it, but I think if I have at least 20% of each of them, I got a pretty good shot of having one of the top lineups with one of them who does explode.
This is a question in chat, but Big Hurt wants to stump me. I believe I have the answer. Dean, in baseball, only player to be drafted in 3 sports. Who is it? I think it was Dave Winfield. Pretty sure Dave Winfield was drafted like a first rounder. Yeah, he's drafted in multiple sports. I think he was a 3-sport guy. Former Minnesota Twin, former New York Yankee. Hey, Andre, how much do you love Aaron Judge? If you could, would you trade Aaron Judge for Juan Soto if that was a thing hypothetically?
I don't know. He's younger, so that's you're gonna put me on the spot because the guy.
Yes, you do. You do it.
He's younger.
That little short porch there in New York. Juan Soto is. We were talking about the best left-handed hitters in the league earlier today on the FanDuel Friday show. We were talking AL. We were talking Devers and Yordan Alvarez, but. The answer for top 3, if we're including the whole majors, it's Soto, Alvarez, and Devers. So you got to do that.
I think you have to, but Aaron Judge also he was developed by the Yankees, so That's the thing. So it's kind of hard to just say, yeah, let's just trade him away for Juan Soto. But I get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a hypothetical, and I have no idea how realistic that is.
The brain says yes, the heart says no.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like DFS. I don't care what you did for me yesterday. What are you doing for me today? Going forward, you don't pay. I don't want to pay you for what you did for me the last month or so, right? But like, of course, as a Yankee fan, I presume he's one of your favorite players.
Yeah, he is. Not one of my favorite Yankees of all time, but he's one of my favorite players. I like DJ LeMahieu. Probably is like my current favorite Yankee player.
Really? That's your favorite Yankee?
Yeah, I'm not. I go off the board. I get weird a little bit. Besides, like Derek Jeter, who's like everyone's favorite. I like the guys.
Mine's Gleyber Torres. I don't like the Yankees, but mine's Torres.
Yeah.
Matt Carpenter. I mean, come on.
I remember just thinking when they were young guys coming up and just both smashing together. I remember thinking Torres and Andujar were just so cool, and I was jealous that they were on the Yankees.
You guys watching the Jeter documentary? I have not. I've not watched it. He had the ability to, Andre, he played in New York, like, 18, 17, 8, biggest city in baseball, like the biggest, name. And he never once said or did anything interesting. Like, he's incredible. He's a magician. Like, he just hid in plain sight. How did he pull that off?
Because he did his thing. He was just very quiet about it, just moving around.
You heard the story about like the packages he would leave behind some lady friends. You wear that or no?
I've heard the stories about that, yeah.
Including a signed baseball, I believe.
Yep.
Like a basket, like a gift basket. Thank you for
Thank you for your time. He was the ultimate bachelor in probably one of the best cities in the world to be a bachelor. You gotta live it up and you gotta do your thing. So shout out to Derek Jeter for that one.
And like he somehow there was no controversies. I don't know if he had deals with like people in the paper, but just incredible. Like just an incredible job of just not.
Maybe he was just a good dude.
Well, no, like you could be having a good, he could be having a good time and doing his thing, whatever, and still be a good guy, But just, I'm not saying he's not a good guy. I have no idea, but
he just was able to keep his personal business very personal and private.
Yeah,
probably had NDAs. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, but there's a 7-part documentary on ESPN that started with him, and I've not watched it. But I traditionally like those 30 for 30 type things, but I don't think I'm interested in Derek Jeter. I find him really boring. I don't know. He's probably much more interesting, but we just don't know. And will they let us in? I'm not sure.
Only way to find out is to watch the documentary.
7 hours is a big commitment, though. But maybe one day we'll knock that out.
We have gotten over 50 likes. We got a bunch of people watching here already, and it's climbing. So let's get us up to 100 for Spidey Bomb number 2. Free content courtesy of FanDuel. This is just a wild lineup of people we got on here today. I'm hot with the live final. Dre's won a Millie. Dean's the best host in the biz. What do we got up next? We got Cheese, the 2-time Millie winner. Carty, the best projection system maker in the world, and Roth, the best weather guy in the world. So we got a stacked crew today. Hit the like button. Spidey Bomb number 1 is my favorite play on the slate. Carson Kelly.
Is he batting leadoff? I presume he is. Yeah, okay. He's going to be, we go around the horn. He's 2-2, I think, on FanDuel, and people just don't roster catchers on FanDuel as like a general rule. So maybe you can get him. And also there's an opportunity cost because it's also going to combine with first base, which is pretty strong today. He's going to be your chalk du jour on DK as well at 3.2K leading off versus Patrick Corbin, one of the weaker pitchers taking the bump. Like a lot of good pitchers pitching today. A lot of lineups of a lot of rotations have reset. And I guess is this the best Washington can do? I'm trying to think the rest of the rotation. I guess just go out there and eat some innings. I suppose Corbin, they're paying him a bunch of money, and obviously they're going nowhere fast, and they're trying to dump. I think they're trying to package Corbin with Soto, which is a good move, I guess, like a salary dump. They might try to pull that off. We'll see how that goes, but. Yeah, Diamondbacks have a team total of close to 4.73. You want to get all technical. One of the better stacks on the board. And they're pretty cheap, too. Like Luplo's another guy batting second. I know there's a chance he gets the hook if a righty comes in. That's certainly a threat. But, bangs out a homer in the first. Who cares? And you can take him out for all you want. But, Kelly, Luplo, Marte, Walker. It falls off really quickly. Buddy Kennedy, who's a real person. I've seen his photo before. Jake.
I love Buddy Kennedy.
Dude, no, you don't. You love Buddy Kennedy?
Well, Buddy Kennedy's made me a lot of money this year.
He's really cheap. I think I did rank him like 8th, like in our rankings today, just because.
What's Buddy Kennedy's ISO against lefties this year, Dean?
Well, what does he have? Like 60 at bats against lefties? Probably less.
34.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so I'm sure it's like 310.
It's over 200.
Okay, so it's not completely insane. Yeah,
219.
Yeah, I mean, good for him. Good for Buddy Kennedy. Who else?
Probably a great guy.
Say it again.
Really cheap. Probably a great guy. Really cheap.
Oh, there's a guy for the Mets named Travis Blankenhorn playing baseball.
I like him a lot now.
Blankenhorn or Buddy Kennedy?
No, someone else. Sorry, I was looking at someone who hit a home run today, and I didn't. He got moved up to the second spot today. We'll talk about when we get to sacks. We'll talk about one of my favorite sneaky teams.
Did you want to give out? You want to just play along with TJ and give out homers as well every 50 likes?
Sure, why not? First one I'm going to say is Seth Brown.
Oh man, Eric's going to be happy in chat. That's his boy. He was touting him being an all-star, and that's only because like every team has to have an all-star.
I don't like that. We don't give out participation awards over here, but he I think he's in a good spot today to just go yard. I kept looking at the numbers, and his ISO it just kept standing out to me. And his context, I was like, wow, yeah, he's going to hit one today.
It's a super small sample on Spencer Howard this year, like 20 innings, but he's given up 3.5 homers per 9, which is too many. I mean, again, the homer and the fly ball is almost 30%. That's pretty goofy. So he's been unlucky. But, Spencer Howard, big time prospect at one point. Philadelphia dumped him, and we'll see. He's trying to figure it out, but it's not looking great so far, obviously.
I'm seeing if there's any crappy players in my player pool that I can just go down and go see if maybe I only have them in like 4 or 5 lineups and just 1-for-1 quick player replace Seth Brown in there. Just so that I don't have to have very much of him and I don't have to redo anything, but I can have that call in there.
Are you playing Tapia? I mean, he's 2K on DK leading off, which is theoretically useful, but he's also
I like Tapia today. I like the Blue Jays quite a bit. I think they're in a pretty good spot with that weather. Eovaldi hasn't been as strong lately as he had been in the past. I like Tapia and the Blue Jays stack.
Yeah, I mean, if you want a flat out punt, that's leadoff hitter on the road. I don't know if there's a chance he gets pinch hit for. I guess it's possible. This game is late. I don't know if Springer's available. I'm guessing he is, and maybe he comes off the bench if the situation calls for it. But he's 2K on DK and 2-2 on Fanduel. But Fanduel's got plenty of punts, which you guys talked about earlier. We talked about Castellanos as one, and Arizona's got a bunch of cheap guys as well. We kind of mentioned that. Kelly at 2-2, catcher / first base. Luplow's 2-2 as well. Like, you can stack Arizona with an elite pitcher and like get a good stack to combine with them. TJ, I imagine you've done that so far. That some of your lineups are looking like that.
Yeah, that is. And I mean, I just managed to switch on the note of Arizona and the cheapies. I just managed to switch some McCarthy and some Jesus Sanchez lineups to Seth Brown. So now I got him in there without having to adapt. But I really love the kind of, and I mean, this probably means I'm going to lose all my money today, but I love the set of ownership for my lineups that I have, my stack summary and lineup HQ that I'm looking at. I got 5 pitchers in the pool, and I got as much ownership of them each as I want. Morton first, Ohtani second, Burns third, Scherzer fourth, Gausman fifth. And then my stack summary is 34 each of Arizona and Philly, 22 each of Toronto and New York, 21 of Tampa Bay, 17 of the White Sox, Milwaukee, Kansas City, Texas, Boston, Houston, Dodgers, Miami, Cleveland, 1 single Baltimore stack, and those are my 150.
And what is your strategy? How is it different? You were talking about, a contest that's front heavy, right? 40K, that's the one you're putting on 150 as far as that's the squeeze, correct? I assume that's what you're playing on FanDuel?
Yeah. So
you're playing chalky pitchers, right? But then FanDuel, you got to get pitching right. Obviously, you only have one. You got to make that work. How are you differentiating your hitters, or how are you adjusting based upon the fact that we're talking about 40K up top, 15 for second, 7.5 for third? It falls off, pretty quickly. 6 is only 2K. That's fine. You'll take it, I suppose. But you're shooting for first, obviously. How does that change how you're building your lineups?
It doesn't at all, because anytime I'm running 150, my goal is first in the contest. There's no point that I'm playing for, like, it's not like a single entry where if I'm in cash and I double up, or if I finish somewhere in the middle of that cash line, I'm very happy. When I'm MMEing, it's first or nothing. So that's kind of always the mindset.
Let's go. That's how you got to play. You play to win. We don't play to lose here.
Eric in chat says Ohtani is not an elite pitcher. What? Like what? Eric.
He's just trolling right now.
He's doing a very, very important job, and that's with how much I've been talking up Ohtani. It's almost darn near inevitable that he fails just because of how high I am on him. That's just how it works. And so he's doing a very important job, which is throwing in that other side of the jinx out there to kind of even it out and let Ohtani do the rest.
Do we like Mejia for the same price as a pivot? Is Mejia playing for Tampa? Who's Mejia? I just see the question in chat from Richie Smalls. Andre, you have thoughts on Mejia today? I'm guessing, is he on Tampa? Okay, so he's a catcher. Yeah, he's a 2-1 catcher. Go ahead.
Me personally, like, the way I play, like I do stacks. So I especially on a stack like this big, it's going to be full stacks or like a 4-man stack. And me, I don't mind getting Mejia because he's going to make my lineup a little bit different on the back half of it. So yeah, I personally would keep him in there, especially if you're like that team a lot. So he's not obviously one of my favorite plays, but he would be an only in stacks guy. Which you that's a button that we have that you could click over there and make sure that he's there for sure. Because that's the only way I will play him and get to him at all in the lineup. So
we got Naked HD trolling in chat as well, saying Ohtani is trash. Come on, Naked HD. One of my victims, by the way, in the Beat Mean Dean contest. I gave it a go. It was fun. It was a good time. We had a good time with that. Melendez, by the way, leading off for Kansas City, something of note. He's pretty cheap on FanDuel too. And again, we talked about
him. So he might hit a home run today too. And I don't even have him written down.
I think I did bet a couple of the Kansas City guys for homers.
JD Martinez scratched.
Okay. Do we know who's jumping in that place or not just yet? I guess not.
Not just yet.
All right.
So did we talk about our favorite stacks yet?
Well, tell me, give me the summary as far as pitchers, Andre. I know TJ just gave his. Give me your summary as far as pitching.
My summary is I'm going to play a lot, especially now JD Martinez is scratched. One less guy to worry about. Gausman's going to be. I'm going to play a lot of. I'm going to be well over the field on Gausman. I would play a little bit of Corbin Burns. Well, not a little bit. I'll be at the field, not more with Corbin Burns. I'll be probably at the field, maybe a little bit under with Shohei. Probably well over the field and more in and over on Matt Scherzer. That's what my pick.
Eric in chat says I'm scared to take him on. Like, first of all, you got to challenge me. Like, I'll put the tweet out, and you got to challenge me underneath it. # Beat Mean Dean. And like, it's my bad. We should have ran it today, and then that's on me. But we're definitely gonna run it back next week. Say it again.
I love the confidence from Eric. Let's go.
You think it's a head-to-head contest? Do you think he's gonna run like an Oakland stack against me?
I don't know. He probably, knowing him, he would be the one to do something like that.
He said he was running Atlanta
just to prove a point. He would like. I think Eric is the type of person that will tell you what stack he's running and just say try to beat it.
Ref Snyder looks like there is the guy they plugged in for him. He's batting second now.
He jumped into the 2 spot?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. And there's no story as well. Like, this Boston lineup is rough. Duran, Ref Snyder, Devers obviously is legit. Bogarts, Verdugo, Vasquez. They're playing 2 catchers. Vasquez is playing first. Plawecki is the actual catcher. JBJ, and then Jeter Downs. Cool name, but, I mean, he's not great either. A little bit of a prospect there, but man, this is a rough lineup for Boston. Yeah, I know the weather is pretty good for hitting baseballs, but maybe Gausman is kind of sneaky here, and he's just not going to be owned. And like TJ, you said you're gonna have what, around 4, 5, 6%, something like that.
I am adjusting it now, so it's 5 to 10%.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's good for tournaments. It's a one way to get a little bit different on this slate. Andre, talk to me about stacks. Let me just go ahead and pull up what our consensus stacks are today. I did have that. And for me, like, I had a hard time ranking them because I just think like 1 through 6 are kind of all the same. I don't really love one team more than the rest, but our consensus rankings, Andre, it's your Yankees, Milwaukee, Houston, Arizona, the White Sox. There's a little bit of Miami love, a little bit of Seattle love, a little bit of Philadelphia love. But, I mean, I don't, tell me, does that sound about right to you, or where are you at as far as stacks?
Stack-wise, I'm a little bit the same for all of them. I love Houston a lot today. I do like the Yankees as well. I kind of like Seattle after digging into them a little bit more, going against Urquidy. So that's still a team I don't mind rostering today and getting a good few shares of. I do like Milwaukee today as well, but some sneaky stacks that are off the board to me that I do definitely love today. Like it's Baltimore going against on the opposite side of the Yankee game. Baltimore, I love them a lot today as well. Phillies obviously is a good one. We mentioned them before, and the Chicago White Sox. That's another one that I am going to probably be overweight on for sure. And the Dodgers, because no one's gonna play the Dodgers. But
I forgot they were on the slate.
Yes, you can never forget the Dodgers on the slate. You gotta always have I think one liner with them because they're just one of the most dangerous teams out there. Yeah, and I do always love Houston. I do always love Houston. I don't know why Houston. And I'm a Yankee fan. This would be a sin, but
they play some fun games. Houston and the Yankees. They're probably going to meet. Well, who knows? Baseball playoffs are weird, and anybody can be anyone in the series. But that feels like that they're destined to face each other, in the ALCS.
Yes.
It'd be an awful shame when the Blue Jays knock out the Yankees.
Blue Jays, they got to worry about trying to catch up.
They're not worried about that division lead. They're just gonna get that nice wild card spot and then have a good hard playoffs.
Well, we'll see.
Houston's a good team to always like. By the way, that's a fun offense for sure. There's a lefty on the other side of Marco Gonzalez, but Jordan and Tucker smash lefty is pretty good. I know Seattle hasn't lost since 1972 or something like that. They're on this winning streak. It's pretty crazy.
And on the note of this team, I saw somebody mention in chat that shortstop's pretty gross today, and they kind of want to go one-off there. Jeremy Pena is one of my favorite way to do that. He's probably going to be if I was playing cash today, he's probably who I'd go to. And I like him quite a bit as a one-off shortstop as long as he's still batting second.
Yeah, I got a thought as far as when we go position.
On FanDuel specifically.
Yeah, I have a take at third. I think I'm curious what you guys think. We'll kind of get to that. We'll go around the horn in a second. Let's do that now. Sure, why not? Keep those questions firing in chat. And again, if you guys are joining us late, if you're not aware, we're giving away 1 week free of RG Premium, all the goods, all the sports, all the tools. You get the optimizer, all the rankings, anything you want. You get Dave Potts, Cheese's article, everything for a week, with the exception of NASCAR. NASCAR's a la carte. But we're giving away 2 versions of that. So 2 weeks free, one to one person, one to another person. How do you get that? Jump in the Discord, RotoGrinders.com/Discord. Go to the live stream chat. Just go to live stream chat. There's a giveaway bot. It says giveaway bot. You hit the party popper. You're eligible. And as of right now, I see just 13 people. So by my UCF math, 1 out of every 6.5 people that hit that bell are going to get 1 week free of RG Premium. So unless that changes and you're inspired now to go ahead and check it out, feel free to go to the RotoGrinders Discord, get yourself 1 week free of RG Premium. All right. Position.
And we got people in the YouTube chat asking for home run picks from Dre. Hit the like button. We got over 300 people watching. We got another round of home run picks at 100. We got another round of home run picks at 150. The first Spidey bomb was Carson Kelly, and Dre's first home run call was Seth Brown. We got more coming as soon as we hit 100 likes, and even more as soon as we hit 150.
I'm going to give one too. I'm going to retroactively. I didn't give one, but I'll give the Italian Nightmare. Vinny Pasquantino is going to bang one out. How about that?
I love it.
Going off the board for the people. L21 is asking for Spidey bombs. You just gave them, and once we hit 100, we'll knock out a couple more for the people. Booby is saying no NASCAR included. Count me out. Well, sorry, Booby. Hit up Stevie. Stevie will make it work for you. You can get the NASCAR if that's what you care about.
And here we're 2 likes away, so hit the like button now, and we can give you our next round of home run calls before somebody just hit the unlike, and so we can.
Does that count? I don't even know how the algorithm works. I'm told that either way, any sort of interaction is good.
Yeah,
no?
I just I want us to get there before we go position by position, so that we can hit that 150 number before the crunch time guys come in.
Give me your favorite catchers. I guess I'll start with you, TJ, because, well, I know you like one of your favorite hitters, if I'm not mistaken, from your Agents of Fantasy article, was a catcher.
Yeah, Carson Kelly and the Spidey Bomb favorite hitter on the slate. I love MJ Melendez batting leadoff there. Outside of that, I don't think there's too many guys at the catcher position that I want to be playing today. Oh, and JT Realmuto, of course, as well, batting cleanup against Steele. Those are the three guys that are by far the top of the board for me. Other than that, I'm okay with including Grandal, Heim, Rutschman, Danny Jansen, Alejandro Kirk, Travis d'Arnaud, Will Smith, and Stacks. But those guys I mentioned were the only ones I'd be interested in as one-offs.
Yeah, I like Kirk a good bit. Just the price point's a little tricky to get to, especially when you compare him to a guy like Carson Kelly. Ownership, of course, is going to be a thing. I think Kelly's going to be a little bit more popular than what our numbers suggest at 14.8% on DK. You'll get him lower on Fanduel again because you're not forced to roster a catcher. How about you, Andre? What do you like as far as catcher today?
Catcher, I definitely like MJ Melendez, especially with him leading off against Resusman. So I'm going to go with him. JT Realmuto is another guy, like we mentioned Carson Kelly already. Grand Dog with the Chicago White Sox. I love them. I love him today. And then I might as well. Are we at 100 likes?
Yeah, we are. Let's do it.
Rutschman is my second home run call today for Baltimore. I love the fact that he moved all the way up to 2. I was excited when I saw that. That's when I was like, ooh. That guy, I think he's in for a good game tonight. I think, honestly, low key, I think, I hate to say it, but I think the Baltimore, I picked the Yankees to win, but I think Baltimore might continue their streak and win. Might win tonight. So I wouldn't be surprised because Talion hasn't really been that great of a pitcher. But I do like Rutschman a lot. With Switcher, the ISO was high. It's a great matchup overall for him. I will run him as a one-off even as well. And I like Sean Murphy. If you run like a mini Oakland stack.
I like a little Mullins Rutschman. I don't mind that. I'm not going to fully stack Baltimore.
Mullins, Rutschman, Hayes, and Santander. That's all you need.
And again, another fire emoji there in Baltimore, also being a switch hitter, hitting on the left side versus Tyon. The new ballpark configuration is not going to hurt Rutschman, assuming he pulls the ball. And again, Baltimore, one of like 6 or 7 ballparks that's really, really conducive to hitting. Philadelphia, we kind of mentioned a couple times. It's really popping in Ross weather model today. Boston has got the fire emoji now, like 20-game sample. I don't really care about slight downgrade in homers, but I just lean to the fact it's 91, 6 degrees, 6 miles per hour, straight to center field. Dew points at 61. I know Kirk D's in chat's a big dew point guy. Maybe you can speak on that. Met Stadium also has the fire emoji. Atlanta, as it always does. Kansas City's 96, and the wind's blowing out 10 miles per hour to left center. So I like the over in that game. I saw it was 9. I don't like betting on those offenses, but neither pitcher is particularly spectacular. And we'll talk about Lau as well too. He's going to be super popular at second base, a little bit underpriced. Nice spot for him today. All right, let's jump to first. I'll let you start it off, Andre. Who do you like at first base today?
Let me start it off because we got a Spidey Bomb time here at first base.
Okay, go for it.
Perfect.
Rhys Hoskins is Spidey Bomb number 2. He's going to be hitting a bomb at the first base position today. Andre and I were talking that most of my utility positions today on FanDuel are going to be occupied by first baseman and catcher just because I love that position so much. So Rhys Hoskins, Spidey Bomb number 2. Back to Dre. Take it away.
You could have continued to finish the position.
No, it's all you, man.
For Rhys, I love Rhys today. Same thing. I got him down. I got him as on my list of home runs today as well. I do also like Roddy Tellez. I think he's in a good spot today too. Freddie Freeman, free money Freddie, free money Friday. Let's go. I like him today. I like the Dodgers as well overall as a team. Anthony Rizzo going against Wells, lefty versus him. I think he's in a good position. I also do like Christian Walker, but I think everyone likes Christian Walker going against Corbin today. So he probably should be the most popular first baseman, I think, on the board. I don't mind a guy like Ty France, Yandy Diaz, or Jose Abreu.
So I know Cheese pointed this out in his article today. Tyler Wells just looks like regression monster is coming. He's got a 3.38 ERA, that's solid. Sure, good for him. But a 2.42 BABIP, which is super, super lucky. His left on base at 77%, is a little bit high. His home run the fly ball is 8.3%. That all adds up to a Sierra at 4.58, and he's facing a Yankee team who doesn't strike anybody out, 17.2%. You know what? I'm going to give one that's I'm being ambitious. I gave Vinny Linguini the Italian Nightmare. I'm going to say Joey Gallo. It's a homer today. How about that? He's actually going to hit the baseball, and it's going to go over the fence. What do you think of that, Andre? You guys hate Gallo and the Yankees, I imagine. You're not a big fan?
Man, this guy, I don't mind him. It's just that I just play Matt Carpenter more.
Yeah.
That's all I would say. Just play Matt Carpenter more. I'm not going to talk bad about anyone on the Yankees.
Yeah, he's also been hindered so much by the shift. Like his BABIP is like 230 or 240 or something like that because teams have figured out he's not going the opposite way, trying to get like a double down the line or something like that.
Yeah.
So there's 9 guys on the right side of the field essentially. All right, let's talk about second base. I kind of alluded to it as far as second. Whose dog? I'll give you a second. Is that Andre's dog or is that
she's upstairs, so she's having an argument with my fiance. So
who's winning?
I don't know. Probably the dog, to tell you the truth.
I'm afraid that's going to be contagious, and I got this big old dog right next to me who he's chill, but once he hears other dogs do things, then all of a sudden it's like a domino effect. But for now, he's been a good boy. All right, I'll throw it to you, TJ, as far as second, and I think second's pretty loaded. It's pretty good. Cattell Marte looks really, really good. Your boy Buddy Kennedy plays second for what it's worth, but Brandon Lau like a good bit. Altuve, if you have the money. Against Marco Gonzalez, we know how he just absolutely annihilates. He absolutely pummels southpaws on the road, I presume, leading off, well positioned with those 5 ABs. I hate the ballpark in Seattle, but Altuve is skilled enough to get things done. Who's your favorite as far as second?
Yeah, so my favorite is going to be Brandon Lau. Second favorite is Cattell Marte by quite a bit. Those guys are going to be my top guys on the board by quite a bit. From there, I'm just looking to stack mostly. We did end up getting Max Muncy and Gavin Lux both in very strong lineup positions for the Dodgers with Justin Turner out of the lineup. So those guys are somewhat interesting there. And that's mostly where my interest lies. I agree you can go up to Altuve. The 2 other guys I really like, though, that I forgot to mention there are Marcus Semien and DJ LeMahieu. Those are 2 guys I'm going to be heavily overweight on.
Dodger lineup is Betts, Trey Turner, Freeman, Will Smith, Muncy, who's just always too cheap on FanDuel, Lux, Lamb, Bellinger, Thompson. Lamb feels like a pretty good threat for a swap out if a lefty comes in for what it's worth. All right, second base. What do you have, Andre?
Mentioned Brandon Lau probably is obviously everyone's favorite. Going to be the most popular, as well as Cattell Marte. So I don't mind those guys. I like Jose Altuve. He mentioned DJ LeMahieu is a good one. Marcus Semien, I think, is another good option as well to go with. If you like the Tampa Bay side, I also don't mind Taylor Walls. You can play him obviously at second, third, or shortstop, but I think he's a good option today to go with as well. If you're going Milwaukee, part of the stack, Luis Urias, I don't mind him as well. Diaz in Houston, I don't mind him. Cattell Wong is actually Colton Wong, is one of my favorite second basemen today as well. So I like trying to get him in there too a lot today. And since I do like Chicago, the White Sox a good amount today, so I don't mind a guy like Josh Harrison today as well.
Mark in chat says that Joey Wendell is free at shortstop against Thompson. We'll talk about short. The problem is he's not very good. He's in a bad ballpark. I know Thompson's not somebody to be feared, but Wendell's just not a lot of punch. He's got to get there probably multiple events. Very unlikely to homer. There's your mush play. Kirkwood in chat says we need Chop for the BBP play of the day. I don't have one. I haven't looked at BBP today, shockingly. I'm not sure if there is one. There is a tool at RotoGrinders. It is free. If you guys are interested or you guys are curious for such things, maybe we'll pull it up on the fly. Before we jump to third base, we jump to third, right? First, second, then third. We'll jump back to shortstop. Do want to mention, if it's too complicated to figure out, hey, I got to get a shortstop, I got to get a second baseman, you don't want to play against TJ, you don't want to play against Andre. If you haven't heard about Stat Hero, it's a unique fantasy sports platform. It allows users to compete only against the house, not against other players. You're not going to play against me. You're not going to play against Naked HD in chat. You're not going to play against Eric in chat. Just against the house, a head-to-head style contest where Stat Hero, they're going to provide a lineup. You just got to take down that lineup. You got to beat that lineup in a pick'em style contest. If you want to play, if you're interested, if you're curious, use the promo code GRINDERS, GRINDERS, for a 50% deposit bonus up to $250. And Andre, I know you took a look at the site earlier today. You put together a lineup you like. What do you have for the people?
Yeah, these are some of my favorite plays just on the slate overall. It's kind of hard to make these lineups on there, honestly, but I like Daniel Vogelbach, the position he's in. I think it's going to be a low play. Seth Brown, I like him as well to go yard and have a good game, as well as Southside Diggs. I'm high on Baltimore today. Ian Happ, me and TJ talked about him earlier, and I think he is in a good position to have a good game and go yard today as well. Obviously, Brandon Lau, who's been hitting well since he's been back, and Brett Phillips, Phillips, whatever how you ever pronounce it, but I like him. He's a sneaky guy today. I think that can honestly hit a home run too today. So I like him.
Hey, I don't know if you guys watched the show last Friday or people in the chat watched the show last Friday, but I was calling out some people in the industry for not paying me. I bought some tickets. We hung out.
Yeah, I was on that show.
Okay, yeah. So myself and DC and Mangone manned up. He paid me. He's not my bad. DC still is not paid.
Damn.
And I noticed Kirkwood in chat, who made a bet on air with me about a week or two ago. He took Naked HD against me heads up. He still has not paid me. I just realized this. He's talking about it. Kirkwood, dude, you need the PayPal? I know he's doing well for himself. I've seen Kirkwood's Yahoo balance once, and it was super impressive. I think he's got the money. Feel free to slide in the DMs. It just popped in my head. I was like, didn't we make a bet? First of all, egregious bets backing Naked HD against me. There was no line. It was just straight up. But all right, yeah, we'll knock out the Venmo. I just see Kirkwood lurking in chat. I'm having some fun with him. All right, let's talk about third base. I'll give my take. I'll yield, but you go first, TJ, as far as third.
Yeah, so at third base today, I definitely think it's interesting to get a few one-offs here. Third and short are kind of where I'm looking to do that today. Jose Ramirez and Rafael Devers are definitely interesting to do that with. But I really like this mid-tier. DJ LeMahieu is going to be my favorite. Bobby Witt Jr., Yandy Diaz, Josh Donaldson. Those are going to be my favorite guys to go in there. But more often than not, I think the spot that I'm going to be going to the most is nice and cheap. And it's not going to be Joey Wendell, who we talked about earlier in chats on Fanduel, where you can play him at third. It's going to be Buddy Kennedy. It's going to be Alec Boehm, and it's going to be Yoan Moncada. Those are my top three.
Yeah, give me a guy that can get me a cheap homer. My issue with third base, and I'm looking at the ownership stuff on DK, the top two guys are Rafael Devers, who's facing Gausman, who's good. I understand Devers is awesome. And J-Ram is facing Giolito. I know Giolito can be a little reverse splitsy, and J-Ram's awesome, but I don't love either one of those matchups. I don't love that. It's like they're expensive. The matchups aren't great, and they're going to be the most popular. I feel like this is my favorite place to pivot. It's sort of my thought process. So I like Devers. I like J-Ram again, not besmirching. And the pivots aren't great. They're not spectacular. But that's kind of where I'm at on that. If I need to save salary, third base might be the first place I go to cut somebody. Well, what do you think, Andre?
Third base, right?
Yeah.
Third base. I do like Jose Ramirez today, but that's a tough one. I was looking into his stats against Giolito. He's performed decently. I thought he would have been better against him, honestly, but he hasn't. So, but I definitely don't mind him today. I think we have better options underneath though, like obviously Moncada. I like Cabrian. I think Cabrian Hayes, who hits the ball pretty well.
Yeah.
Eugenio Suarez against Urquidy, I think it's a good option today. Josh Donaldson, Bregman, Max Muncy. Like I said, Dodgers are getting lost on this slate. So going against Webb, who's another guy who's could go yard today as well. And obviously, if you want to go against Gausman and go with a guy like Devers, you can for sure, which I don't mind doing that today. And obviously, someone mentioned Joey Wendell. 2.2K is a little cheap, but I don't know if I'll be getting to him today.
Mr. Richard in chat, is it me or is Pittsburgh not posted a lineup? I don't think we have a Pittsburgh lineup, do we?
We don't have a Pittsburgh lineup because I was looking for that to make a home run call for their team, but
that game starts in an hour. Why do we not have a Pittsburgh lineup?
Someone's getting traded.
I don't. They've had all-star break to figure it out. That's just odd. Okay, yeah, this isn't the NBA. It's not going to be great, but yeah, I do like Hayes, assuming he cracks it, and like maybe he's one of the guys that we get. I think they just signed him, and I feel like they just extended him, Pittsburgh. But that's a weird organization. I did pull up the BBP on the fly for the people. Sure, why not? J-Ram 8 for 31 against Giolito, a couple doubles, just one homer. The most homers. Well, it's Joey Votto, and he's not in the main slate. Votto's hit 4 homers versus Wainwright, for what it's worth, if you care about such things. Jeremy Pena versus Marco Gonzalez, 2 homers and 7 at-bats. Like, come on. That's a big job, right?
I like him a lot, too. Yeah, Pena's on my list.
I like him, too, but not because of like that. But, yeah, I like him. Anything else interesting there? Machado's got 8 hits and 48 at-bats versus Scherzer, 2 doubles and 2 homers. He struck out 19 times. That's kind of where I would have guessed. A lot of strikeouts, and if he hits the ball, he's hit the ball hard against them. Let's jump back to shortstop. Oh, is Vogelbach? Is he on the move? Josh in the chat talking about Vogelbach. I think he's available. He's probably going to go somewhere as like a lefty platoon guy. That makes sense. I don't know if it's happening tonight, but yeah. Andre, what do you have as far as shortstop? You mentioned Pena. You like Pena. Who else do you like?
Yes, Pena, Willie Adames. That one. Oh, this thing just sorry, my lineup basically just updated. Jeremy Pena, Willie Adames, one of my favorite plays I like to get to today. Trey Turner, as well. Bo Bichette against Eovaldi. Don't mind him. Tim Anderson leading off against Quantrill. Corey Seager in Texas. Texas is sneak. I don't think me and TJ like Texas a lot today. We didn't really touch on them, I don't think much, but Texas is a good sneaky stack, I think, today against Irvin. So I don't mind a guy like Corey Seager as well today. But yeah, that's pretty much mainly it. I'll probably use this position mainly to go with my stack.
Highest owned player on Texas, according to our projections on DK, is Seager at 3%. Like, you're going to get, it's a big boy slate. There's 26 teams. So you're going to get a lot of stacks, low ownership. The Dodgers, by the way, on DK, the highest guy is Trey Turner at 4%. Like, they're just not going to be owned. Kirkwood says, who wants Vogelbach? Like, Toronto could use Vogelbach. They need a lefty power bat. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen, but TJ, you take Vogelbach, right? You guys can really use Rowdy Tellez, but you let him go. But lefty powers does not exist in Toronto.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, ideally, we'd like to get it somewhere other than first base. I mean, you got the DH position, but when you have an everyday player like Vlad there, I'd rather it be from somewhere else. I'd like to get that lefty power in the outfield.
That's a good point. Yeah, and also you have Kirk. Does Kirk catch most of the time, or is he DH, or does both?
He can't catch every day. And so because of that, they DH him when he's not, and that works well when you have Jansen and Moreno as well. So the DH spot is kind of, they do almost always have a catcher there when Kirk is not playing catcher, which doesn't seem ideal, but when you got 3 guys who are that good, it doesn't really matter. Yeah.
Okay. So the fit doesn't work, but you can use a lefty power bat, but not necessarily.
Yeah. Like if you give up literally nothing to get him, sure.
What do you have as far as shortstop, TJ?
Shortstop today, my favorite guy is going to be Jeremy Pena. I like Tim Anderson, Corey Seager, Bobby Witt Jr., Trey Turner, Bo Bichette. Though they're all guys that I'm interested in kind of wanting off today. And then there's a lot of these cheap guys, like these Arizona guys down low, some of the Cleveland ones, Miami, Philly, that I'm okay with including them in stacks. But for the most part, I'm just trying to get to my Jeremy Pena's, Tim Anderson, Corey Seager, Bobby Witt, and Bo Bichette.
We're going to have some time for some questions. We have the Crunch Time crew coming in about like 7-8 minutes, give or take. Chief meteorologist Kevin Roth going to tell you what's going on weather-wise. I don't think there's anything crazy as far as precipitation. Has anything been updated? As far as I know, let's take an update.
Nah, you're right. It's good.
Wait.
Is that time in there, Roth?
They just threw me in, I think, just literally to answer that question, and then I imagine they'll take me out. I don't know.
What? Wait, no, I asked how fast can he click that button? You were on the ready.
It was incredibly quick. I don't even know how or why I was listening, but I was, and I was ready to go.
That is awesome. Hilarious timing. And I just want to say before these guys are in full gear, we're 20 likes away from Spidey Bomb number 2.
Let's get there.
Number three.
Let's get there. Let's get there quickly. Come on, someone.
Hey,
get some likes.
I've been watching Crunch Time, Roth, and you've been on fire, like picking players. I don't know, you're throwing darts, you're hitting some homers. You feel free to I don't know if you have a Spidey Bomb or it's a weather-related pun. Well, what do you call these things when you predict homers?
Weather bombs? I don't know. I'll come up with something better. But
okay.
Yeah, I've been picking some homers pretty hot lately. So we'll see if we can come up with something a little later in the show. Give it a little tease. Keep people watching.
Ross Heat Wave homers.
Do you want to hang in the shadows, or do you want to hang out with us for the next 5 minutes or so?
No.
You're welcome to hang.
No, I got to pull things out of the oven here in 6 minutes. So no, I do not want to hang.
Okay. Well, thanks for making a cameo appearance. We're going to jump to the outfield. We'll talk to Roth in about 7 minutes or so. See what the Dave Potts has to say. Derek Carty as well. Outfield. TJ, what do you have for us?
Yeah, so the outfield position, I just realized that I had a few guys that got added to the player pool that I didn't want to have added in my player pool there that I need to take out. So at outfield position today, on FanDuel, you mentioned it earlier with Castellanos, but we have a ton of just cheap options that are really strong. Nick Castellanos, Jordan Luplow is in a great spot, but he's got the pinch hit risk. Tapia's leading off today. Eloy Jimenez is $2,300. That just seems crazy.
Yeah.
Ortega's leading off nice and cheap. We mentioned Seth Brown earlier. So this is just a spot that if you need to save, there are great spots. My favorite guys in the mid-tier, Christian Yelich is picking up a lot of ownership. I think he's fine. But I would rather just go somebody like Randy Arozarena right below him, Adolis Garcia right above him, or even just try and get up to Stanton. I have no issue paying up for Aaron Judge, but if I'm looking to pivot off of him, the guys I'm most interested in would be Schwarber, Alvarez, or Betts.
Yeah, J-Rod is another big spend. I think it looks pretty appealing. Let's see, what's wrong with the Rangers lineup? Is the chat hates the Rangers? Well, it's just, it falls off really quickly. Semien, Seager, Chaim is batting third. Oof. Remember he was batting ninth earlier in the year? Garcia, Lowe, Tavares, Duran, Culberson, and Hernandez.
I mean, he was batting ninth, but he's been really good.
Yeah, I know, but he's the number 3 hitter. What are we doing? Really? Yeah,
when you got a 323 ISO against left-handed bats, you're batting third.
How big is that sample? That feels like a fraudulent sample.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. It's his only sample. Like, it's not like this is some guy that's been in the league forever and just randomly started doing good. Like, it's the only sample he's had. He's crushing it, so they might as well put him there.
We stretch it back to last year. It's down to 255, but that's really strong as well. So, okay, fair enough. I'll tip the cap to Chaim. He's been good against lefties. Sure, I guess. But, Andre, what do you have as far as outfield?
Outfield, let me get there. Sorry. I was just home run plays are officially in, scores and odds. If you want to go take a look at the parlay, it's such I know. I like Mookie Betts, Aaron Judge, Jordan Alvarez. Nick Castellanos is too cheap. We mentioned that before. Kyle Tucker. All the Houston guys, all the Philly guys. I can just say that. I like some of these KC guys like Benintendi. I think is a good option today as well. I do also mentioned before Cedric Mullins. I like him a lot today. Luplow's too cheap in my opinion going against Corbin Burns. To me, he's like almost an automatic surefire to play today. I like some of these Seattle guys. So Jesse Winker is another option. Julio Rodriguez as well. It's another option that I think you can get to today as well. Anthony Santander, as I mentioned before. I think he's another good option as well today.
All right. Question in chat here from Don Yeezy. I'll go to TJ with this. Can you power rank your favorite cheap stacks? I think Arizona and the White Sox are like 1-2 for you.
Arizona and Philly is 1-2 for me.
Okay. Uh-oh. Another dog on the loose.
It's not my dog.
Let's see. Well, so John joined us late. Who are the Spidey Bombs? Did we get the 150 yet or no?
We were at 148 last time I looked. Still are. So we need a couple more people to hit. The first ones were
Seth Brown.
Where Carson Kelly was mine. Seth Brown was Dre's. Second one was Reese Hoskins, and I don't remember who your second one was.
Yeah, I went. I was trying to go off the board with mine. I went way off the board with Joey Gallo. Theoretically, he's a home run guy, but not really. You got to hit the ball first, and then Vinny Pasquantino, the Italian nightmare. For the 150, I presume we're gonna get the 150. Let's knock it out. I will. I'm going reverse. I'll take the chalk one. I'll say Brandon Lau gets Brad Keller. How about that?
Real quick, Izzy, whoever this guy is, Luplow versus Burns. He's Luplow versus. It says Luplow versus Corbin. Corbin. So yeah, you got that wrong, my guy.
It's not Corbin Burns. It's Patrick Corbin.
Yeah. You got that wrong, my guy.
It's one of those Wheel of Fortune before and after. Patrick Corbin Burns. Yeah, it's easy to mix that up, I suppose. But yeah, you want to pick on Patrick Corbin. You don't necessarily want to pick on.
Yeah, you don't pick on. You're not going to pick on Corbin Burns.
Otani or Mortensen? Oh, Morton. Okay. Yisman wants to know Otani versus Morton on DK, Andre.
Give me.
They're basically the same price.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna say Otani for the upside, but it's tough.
Let's see. TJ Adam has a question: Abreu or Vaughn in your White Sox stacks?
If you have the money, Abreu.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier to get Vaughn because he's an outfielder, right? First base. There's I guess there's two spots for first baseman on Fanduel. Is there somebody you're afraid, TJ, like or a team or a stack or a player that you're afraid you're just going to be under the field on, and like just hopefully that they just don't do their thing because you can be in a lot of trouble if they do?
Yeah, that's going to be Milwaukee for me. They're a team that I don't like. For everybody else, I think is getting to quite a bit more than me. I think they're going to end up being the chalkiest stack on the slate, which they're not for me. I have Milwaukee, but I have them as like my 8th or 9th highest owned stack. So that would be the one I'm most afraid of.
That's kind of where I'm at too. I like Milwaukee. I think they're in my top 5, but
if Milwaukee's the highest scoring team out of Arizona, Philly, Milwaukee, I'm screwed today.
Yeah. Naked HD's got a question, Andre. Are we liking Seattle? If I remember correctly, Dave, Cheeseisgood will be coming on in a minute. I think he ranked the Mariners pretty high in his rankings today.
I like Seattle versus Urquidy today. He has a 44% fly ball rate this year. Only striking out batters at 18.5%. So yeah, I don't mind taking Seattle as a stack today.
Andre, how do you feel with the Yankees today? I know that's your team. I
like both sides of that game. I think that game goes over. I think they're good. I hope they win, but like I said, I really have that feeling like Baltimore is going to win. Even though I put my money on the Yankees, Baltimore just I don't know. I just feel like Yankees right now, they might be in a little bit of a all-star break slumps, like trying to get get
hangover.
Hangover, trying to get their mind right and get back on the horse and back on the winning streak.
I like that game over too. I think I'm gonna bet over 9. And I can just see the Yankees putting up a 10 spot. I know that lineup does fall off really quickly, though. Why is Carpenter not playing? I guess he doesn't play the field, and they only have 1 DH.
Their lineup is that bothers me sometimes. Like Trevino, really. Like I mean, I don't know, but it's hard to make them the top team. Obviously, like I could go 1 through 5 and be fine. I like Kenner Felifa as well too. So, but it's not as strong as these other teams. So, but I wouldn't be surprised if they end up with being the top stack tonight. I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know if I've ever seen 400 people watching before we even get to the crunch time guys getting here. That's pretty crazy. So I think we got to give out some more home run calls. Hit the like button. We might even get 200 before these guys get here. So hit the like button. But I think since we hit 150, I think we got to give some home run calls before we get out of here.
I'll give.
Do you have a couple on layaway? I know Andre's got a list of like 20 guys. So Andre, what do you have for the people?
One person I like well, that game starts too soon. I'm not going to give that one out. I'm going to say on my list here, I like Nolan Gorin. I'm just going to say him. I don't care. And I also like Brandon Lowe. And I'll give one.
Corbin, okay, okay. I didn't look at that game, but yes, St. Louis actually has the highest total on the board of all teams. Yeah. Of course, they're not in the main slate, but against Ashcraft in that ballpark, they have a team total about 5.4. Pretty big number. Don't mind.
If you're betting, I think his odds are, I want to say his odds are plus 600 if I'm correct to hit a home run.
That's pretty good. That's true.
I think so. Let me go look that up again because
I'm going to check the handy dandy scores and odds home run predictor. Let's see. Yeah, it'll give you the best odds as far as what book you want. Mm-hmm. But if it's plus 600, I will.
No, it's plus 360. Someone was plus 600 that I had before in my lineup in one of my bets. I forgot who it was. I gotta go find it.
Roth just told me there's pop-ups in a game that has 60% of my pitching, so I'm scared. But before I get out of here, I'll give my last Spidey bomb of the day before we get out of here, and it is going to be that scared me and it threw me off my game here a little bit. Marcus Semien. I'm going off the board. Marcus Semien's hitting a homer.
There you go. Going to bring Roth on in just a second. Oh, we got Dave Potts back from fishing and eating ice cream. How was your All-Star break, Dave? That's like basically that's how you drew it up, I imagine.
Yeah, it was not on my board to catch a shark. Like, I didn't even know that was an option, and yet that is absolutely what happened. It was truly incredible. When out there fishing, I'm like, I can see this big fish swimming around my bait, and the guy, Captain Matt, as they call him, was like, "No, you don't. You don't see the fish. They're not swimming that high." And then I hooked. He was like, "That's no fish, man. We're
gonna need a bigger boat."
Yeah, we're gonna need a bigger boat. It was fantastic.
And then your daughter showed you up. I saw you're talking about
that was so. Apparently, you're not supposed to catch 90-pound fish on a little. We were fishing for 18-inch trout, and she hooked this fish, and an hour and a half later, she still got it, and it comes to the boat, and he estimated 90 to 100-pound tarpon. It was wow. Yeah. So my little shark, nobody cares anymore.
That was honestly pretty incredible. That was not just a tarpon. That was a massive, massive tarpon. That was like a once in a lifetime fish. So
that was the thing that ate Jonah in the Bible.
Yeah.
That happened.
The thing was legit.
How about yourself, Carty? Did you catch any fish, any shark? Did you get any ice cream? How was your All-Star break?
Can't say I caught any sharks. Had some ice cream though, so I guess I got that going.
That's
for
just
me.
as good.
What is Carty's ice cream flavor of choice? What's on the power rankings? What is the bat or what the spoon? I don't know, the pint. What pops as number one as far as ice cream flavors for Carty?
The cone. It was right there.
Oh, the cone. That's pretty good.
I don't know if I have a number one, but I feel like a milkshake is the way to go first and foremost. But I like chocolate. I like mint chocolate chip. I like strawberry. I like any sort of cool flavors too. That the local shops in the summer will have key lime ice cream and that kind of thing's cool.
Key lime ice cream.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Oh.
Are we not a fan of the flavor key lime? It's
you lost me a mint chocolate chip. And I'll take a key lime something if it's given to me. But if I'm going to get ice cream, that's definitely not the first one. I'm a cookies and cream guy. I love a cookies and cream. Some with brownies in there. Those are mine.
Well, we should step aside and make way because I'm curious. Roth told, I guess he just told TJ, or I missed it. Roth told us that there's a potential precipitation somewhere. I want to hear what's going down there. And of course, big boy slate, 13 gamer. The people want to hear what the Potts has to say. They want to hear what Carty has to say. Myself and Andre and TJ. We do thank you all for watching. Hit that like button kindly and stick around for the Fanduel sponsor, Crunch Time. Key lime is not premium, Izzy and chat.
You said key lime is premium.
I can't believe you don't like key lime as a flavor. What is wrong with you?
I like it in pie, but not ice cream. That's just the only thing.
Have you ever tried it as ice cream?
I cannot say I have. But
there you go.
It's got a big variance. I'll say that. It could be an 8 or a 2. Can we say that?
Well, is it like a sorbet? Is it like something like that? Is it a sherbet? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know if I'm just going out of my way to get some key lime.
Roth, you do live in Jersey. I'm only in New York, so like, let me know the place. And I go to Jersey all the time. My friends live in Jersey, so I will stop by that place and try it out myself.
There you go.
All right, I'm out of here, guys. Have a good
We're
one.
stepping aside. Roth, take it over. The Fanduel sponsor crunch time starts now.
Deep fried
Let's do it.
Mars
Welcome,
bars are good.
everybody. Excellent work from the Grinders Live crew as always. Big shout out to Dean and the team there. And hey, welcome back, gents. We got Dave Potts, aka Cheeseisgood, fresh off his fishing mission. You feeling good, Cheese?
I am, yeah. Like every year, I feel like we need a 2-week All-Star break. I'm sure a lot of the players feel that way too, especially like the ones who get like half a day off and then go to the All-Star game and then go home and have like 8 hours to sit around. They're like, I guess I'm playing again. So, but it was great, and here we are.
And then we got Carty as well. I have this weird feeling that Carty hates the All-Star break. It's like a new parent when they go on vacation for the first time and they don't see their kids. I feel like that's how Carty feels when he can't look at the bat every day. So, Carty, did you enjoy the break, or did you just miss baseball and statistics too much?
Well, I didn't have to miss statistics because I work straight through. There's always a lot going on. It's not really a break for me, but I miss there being baseball games. Yeah.
Yeah. That's about what I figured. Like, that's almost exactly how I figured you would feel. But hey, we're happy to have you both back. Happy to be back in the swing of things here. This is indeed, as Dino mentioned, this is Crunch Time, sponsored by FanDuel. Sign up for the FanDuel Sportsbook if you're in a legal sports betting state. New users get the no sweat bet up to $1K. FanDuel Sportsbook users can take advantage of that. You get your bonus after your very first bet. Terms and conditions do apply. Dean was mentioning a little bit of a weather issue. I think issue is maybe even too strong of a word. But I was waiting for the potential to see some pop-ups near Atlanta, and boom, they popped just over the last 20 minutes or so. They're close enough, and with the motion I'm seeing, that I think it's if anything, they would late start as opposed to getting an in-game delay. I certainly can't rule out an in-game delay in Atlanta, but
it'd be great if you would just go ahead and do that anyway.
Yes. Let's see. What is this? The start of the Mets game is going to be delayed. So that was the other one that I mentioned here.
So now there's 4 great pitchers, and that's 3 of them are now covered in these 2 games.
That's just one of those really No, that's fine. Play everything in New York. Don't even stress about New York. Everything's fading away. They really probably did not need that late start, but fine. They're being overly cautious. They'll late start. The game's going to play fine. So no issues in New York with bats or with pitchers. You're fine there. In Atlanta, these storms just fired up, just maybe 5 miles north of the park, and they're moving south. So by the time this game starts, these storms will have already been over the park or past the park, in my opinion, which means, if anything, in Atlanta, I think we end up with a late start. I'll watch that just to make sure things are going fine. But at this point, I would not scramble or change your pitchers or do anything like that. And bats are 100% fine regardless of what happens. Does that work?
That will work. Okay.
So I'll give pitchers like 90% probability or more of being okay in Atlanta. We'll go with 90% of being okay in Atlanta, whether that's the storms miss, the storms arrive pregame and they late start, or the storms are quick enough so that it doesn't matter anyways. And I'll monitor that, and I'll give you guys an update here as we get through the show. Outside of that, it's just a ridiculous amount of good hitting weather. Like every game from the Mississippi River east is just fabulous hitting weather. And that's a whole lot of games today. So, pick your poison. 90 degrees and winds blowing out in like 7 or 8 games. You can go to the RotoGrinders MLB page if you want to see those. But we got a big slate, so I don't want to take up much more time. We've been lollygagging. So let's talk about what we're doing here. And Cheese, if you don't mind leading us off with kind of a general look. I assume everybody's got their aces going, right?
Yeah, I mean, not quite everybody, but everybody's got at least a decent pitcher. There's a bunch of aces, and then a bunch of like the bad teams. Best pitchers are not aces, but they're like they're not jabronis either. So,
but like we at this point in the season, everybody kind of like hits the restart button. It's not as if your third best pitcher went last game. You're like, okay, bring out the fourth guy. You're just like,
right. So there's no SP4 or 5s. So there's
Yes.
no, which is why I say there's no, like there's a bunch of not great pitchers because there's some bad teams, but the gas cans are not out here.
Gotcha.
Which,
no jabronis.
for that reason, the offense is pretty well spread out all over the place. Like you can make a pretty strong case for a lot of offenses. And it also works out as one of these where like the few weaker pitchers we have are mostly facing the weaker teams, better pitchers against better teams. So we're left with kind of just a big tangled mess of offense, really.
Okay. Well, let's kind of dive in a little bit deeper on those pitchers. And then of course we're going to get Derek Carty and, the bats takes as well. But let's start with what you like, Cheese.
Yeah. So I'm so interested to hear what Derek says. I really am, because the bat says, if you don't play Cole Irvin today, you don't know what you're doing, essentially, which is the strangest. And I get it.
There was about a 10-minute clip there where there was an error. His projection has gone down a little bit.
Okay. I see it. It went back down to good, but not great. Yeah, it had clipped up like ahead of Scherzer for a second almost. I was like, this is a little high. Okay. The bat does not say you're a jabroni if you don't lock in Irvin, but it likes him a lot. And I get it. But let me get to that. Burns, Scherzer, Ohtani. Freaking awesome. All three of them. I love all three of them. And really, because of the matchup and the way he's pitched, Charlie Morton is right there with them for what I'm just calling a fantastical magic top 4. I want as much of those 4 guys everywhere I can get them. The way the FanDuel pricing works, the bats are just not expensive, and you don't need the expensive bats. So Morton at 9,800 is really as cheap as you need to go. I mean, we'll talk about this Cole Irvin. You can maybe throw Lucas Giolito, Kyle Gibson in there. But FanDuel really, it's not even that hard to get up to the 11K guys. I'm straight up split down the middle on, you can't really split 3 people down the middle, but Scherzer, Ohtani, Burns. I have Scherzer first, Ohtani second for tournaments. Burns, I would play ahead of Ohtani for cash games if you were going double aces. I just love all those guys. I don't really care which one I play. It's just that I want to play one of those 4. I don't think you go wrong. Any one of them could pop a 40-point DraftKings, 65, 70-point FanDuel start, and you have to have them. But most likely all 4 of them are really good tonight. So play who you want to play and mix them up. But the Morton salary on FanDuel makes him kind of the go-to guy, I think.
Okay. Is that it for you? I mean, there's a ton of other
That's it for me on
pitchers.
FanDuel.
Okay.
It's not going to be it on DraftKings, where the pricing, there's a bunch of teams that if you want, you're going to have to go with a cheaper SP2.
Yeah.
And that's where, I look at the bat and I say, I think the bat tells me to play Cole Irvin. I kind of prefer, I definitely prefer Lucas Giolito. I kind of prefer Kyle Gibson. And then I'm like wildly torn on a couple of like nonsense guys who aren't even that cheap, with Brad Keller and Braxton Garrett, who both put up like 30-point games last start. And they're both like Brad Keller. Like, it seems like he sucks, but like every other start is like fantastic. I mean, it really is. It's weird stuff. And anyway, both those guys have ideal matchups. But if you want some, I'll air quote, safety in that 7K range, that's where I'm on the Cole Irvin train. I called him a poor man's Tyler Anderson in my article today. I think that's fair. And you would play Tyler Anderson for 7,300 against Texas in Oakland for sure. So I'm totally fine with it. But I do want to hear Derek's take on if he does in fact love Cole Irvin.
Okay, Carty, let's talk about the pitchers in general. And yeah, you can start there if you'd like.
Yeah, so Cheese did a pretty good job breaking it down. He kind of grouped it as a top 4, and the bat views it a little bit more as a top 2 and a next 2. It has Burns and Morton in the top tier, and then Scherzer and Ohtani kind of like a step below them. So I think in FanDuel Cash, you're playing one of Burns or Morton. Morton, you save a good amount of money on. If you want to play him, that's fine. If you want to spend up to Burns, obviously that's fine too. On DraftKings, I think in cash games, you pair them. But even though Morton is at a lower price point than these other aces, he's every bit as good as every single one of them, and probably better than all of them except for Burns. This Angels lineup, there's no Trout because he's on the IL. and it's really, really bad, and it is extremely strikeout heavy. This is a lineup that has 4 hitters in it that have a projected 30% plus strikeout rate, which is a big number, and there's 4 guys in there. There's 1 hitter in the entire lineup with a below average strikeout rate. Like, it's just a massive, massive strikeout team. The movement on his strikeout prop today, this morning, if you didn't hit it early, you missed out because it moved like crazy because this is such a good strikeout spot. So yeah, I love Morton. I love Burns. Scherzer and Ohtani are fine, but I think in GPPs, like, I'd much rather just go heavier on Burns or Morton than play Scherzer or maybe even Ohtani. Because they're both facing weaker offense or tougher offenses, rather. I just don't like them quite as much. Their prices. I would rather, if I'm not doing Burns and Morton, I'd rather live in that middle range that Cheese kind of talked about, and that's where Cole Irvin is. The bat really does like Cole Irvin today, and he's got every reason to like him. He's facing a bad Texas offense that's taking a big park hit going into Oakland, one of the best pitchers parks in baseball. Everywhere is really hot today, but it's 59 degrees in Oakland. So it's considerably better pitching weather there than anywhere else. He's got an extreme pitchers umpire, and he's very reasonably priced. So I like Irvin quite a bit. I think Giolito in that range is good. I think Zach Gallen, who I don't think Cheese mentioned, in that range is very good. Kyle Gibson, I think, is really good. All 4 of these guys really are kind of going to go under-owned, it looks like, because there's so many aces on the slate. But I think all 4 of them should be in your GPP pool. And if you really want to go with like the cheap nonsense, the guy that I'd look at is probably Spencer Howard, who's on the other side of that Oakland game and is like 5K.
Okay, that's all?
That's all. We mentioned like a dozen pitchers.
Well, I mean, yes. Cheese, did you mention Spencer Howard? Was he the guy who you were like...
No, I really want this guy to be good. And he's going to be good. Maybe it'll be tonight, but he's so not good.
Yeah, he's not that good. But it's like a great spot and price.
Yeah. The thing
it's just that there's so much pitching on this slate, you might not need him.
That's what I've come to is like, you don't really need you need a 7K guy in some lineups, but you don't really need a 5K guy. So I personally didn't end up on Howard.
Okay. In another universe, you could see yourself playing him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, almost anyone in Oakland who's cheap is going to be playable.
Okay. Let's talk about the bats here. And I like to start discussing stacks. So Carty, it seems to me like maybe things are pretty spread out here with the bats, but tell me if there is something chalky and then tell me what you like and what the bat likes as well.
Yeah. I don't think there's going to be any team that's like overwhelmingly chalky. I think it's going to be pretty spread out because like Cheese said, like we're getting mostly aces on this slate. And, the guys that aren't aces are kind of facing the weaker teams. I think Arizona projects in the bats ownership as the highest owned team, but not like crazy ownership. They're facing Patrick Corbin, who's one of the weaker pitchers on the slate, and the pricing on them is really good. But some of the stuff that the bat likes, and again, you don't have to do a lot to be different today. Kind of just play some of the best stuff, I feel like, or I mean, even the best stuff is like, there's like 15 teams you can play today, but like the ones that project the best in the bat, the Blue Jays, the Marlins, the Royals, the Brewers, and then probably 10 other teams you can add to the list.
Okay. Cheese, your favorite stacks?
Yeah. So like the teams he just named pretty much tells you what the slate is. It's like you're basically spending up for these good teams who are, it could absolutely happen. Like the Blue Jays or the Red Sox or the Yankees or the Dodgers, like they're all just good enough teams. It could happen. But these super cheap teams against the weaker pitchers, like he mentioned, Miami, Kansas City, and then Milwaukee and Arizona in particular, you can play those teams with aces. And if there's chalk builds, I think those are the chalkier builds. On both sites, you get an ace or 2 aces, and then you go with like a Miami or an Arizona, Milwaukee on Fanduel. It's a cheap stack, and then you can filter in a couple of expensive one-offs around them.
Okay. Before we get into some of these position by position plays and go around the horn, do you want to give a quick update here for those that are just tuning in? There is a late start in New York. That game's going to be fine. It's literally a non-concern for pitchers or for hitters. So no issues there. Atlanta is the one I'm more worried about, and it's just a pitcher concern for me with these pop-up storms nearby. If you want to play it safe in cash, okay, you know, we've got 4 top-tier pitchers, although I guess 2 of them are in that game. I think if I'm playing tournaments, I'm just playing this and hoping that either the Storms miss or they late start and the Storms get there quicker. I can't tell you it's safe, but you probably get away with it. And I think that's what I would do. Cheese, does that still work for you?
Yeah. I mean, this is one, again, I don't play cash, so I don't have to make this decision. It would be really hard not to have at least one of those guys in a cash game lineup. I don't even know how you do it. I mean, you could go Scherzer Burns, but I think you just play them. I'm not changing anything, certainly in any of my lineups.
That's where I'm at. I think you've got an 85-90% chance that that's going to end up working out okay, and a 10 or 15% that you get an early delay. But I don't think that's the very likely outcome. So with that said, I will keep watching it, see if anything changes. But with the nature of these storms, just kind of firing up here, there, wherever, I doubt I'm going to know anything more than that. But I'll keep a watch on things. And if they do announce a late start, then everything's golden. That's what we hope happens in Atlanta. Okay, let's go position by position. And Cheese, you can start us off talking some catcher.
So, though, if there's one thing on this whole slate that's chalk, it's Carson Kelly on DraftKings, and that makes it a weird slate right away. Like the one thing
I don't even know who that
obviously
is.
Carson Kelly, yeah,
Right.
I mean, you don't have to, but he's a decent hitting catcher leading off against Corbin for 3,200. Then that's the whole story. And this is not really the position to prioritize spending up. Kirk is very good. I do like him on FanDuel where he's cheap. But that like Kirk, Real Muto, Contreras, Melendez, Will Smith, like those 5K guys, I don't want to be spending my salary at catcher outside of stack. So basically Carson Kelly is the play. I think you could do like Grandal or Rutschman just a little bit more to be a little different, but it's almost a don't overthink it and just play Carson Kelly.
Carty?
Yeah, Carson Kelly, I think, is certainly fine if you want to punt. I have no problem with Kirk either, though. I know the bat really likes Kirk. He's against Eovaldi, but it's in Boston. It's a great park. He's just so freaking good to begin with. Eovaldi has a large reverse platoon split, so that kind of works in Kirk's favor. So I think it's one of those two guys as your cash play, and then, catchers in your GPP stacks, Melendez in your KC stacks, Kirk in your Toronto stacks, that kind of thing.
All right, take us to first.
So Vlad Guerrero Jr., for all the same reasons as Kirk, is the top first base play tonight. Again, even though he's against Eovaldi, it's a reverse splits thing. It's it's a really good park, and he's Vlad Guerrero. So I think Vlad is great tonight. I think you can also on DraftKings go like all the way down to Garrett Cooper, who's 2.3K. He's hitting second against Zach Thompson. We mentioned how like basically every team is rolling out like at least a decent pitcher. There's no like number 4, number 5 gas can type guys. I think the exception is Zach Thompson. Zach Thompson is not good. And the Marlins get to face him, and they're really cheap. So I think Garrett Cooper for 2-3 is definitely a good play. In the mid-range, Christian Walker will probably pick up some ownership, and I think he's fine. But the bat prefers Rowdy Tellez against Senzatella, and I'm good with that. Over on FanDuel, Rhys Hoskins is really underpriced at 3.1K with the platoon advantage against Justin Steele, who's one of the weaker pitchers on the slate. Maybe not like a gas can type guy, but definitely, he's no better than a number 3 starter if we're being generous. So I like Hoskins quite a bit at 3.1. Rowdy is 2.7 on FanDuel also, so he's a good play. Yeah.
Okay, Cheese?
Yeah, we're gonna we might almost run out of time, so I won't add much to first base. Like Tellez and Walker are my 2 favorites and affordable.
Okay, take us to second.
The only guy who I liked, who also happens to be the guy the bat likes, is Brandon Lau, especially on FanDuel. You could also do Ketel Marte there. I think Altuve is kind of an unnecessary spend outside of a Houston stack. We also have like the Buddy Kennedy thing if you need a super cheap guy on DK at 24. But FanDuel basically Lau, Marte, and then everything else is in a stack.
Carty, anything to add at second?
No, that's pretty much it. Lau's the top guy for sure, and especially on FanDuel, he's very reasonably priced.
Okay, take us to third.
Jose Ramirez is the top guy, as he is most slates. He's against Giolito, but he is in the best home run park in baseball, and he's Jose Ramirez. So I like him quite a bit. I don't have any problem just spending up to him and making that happen. If you need to save some money, Max Muncy, I mean, we didn't really mention him at second, but like at third, he's probably one of the better plays. He's 2.5K on FanDuel. I think he's a good play. I think Yohan Moncada and Brian Hayes are decent cheap punt plays on FanDuel. On DraftKings, Moncada's 3.7. I think he's a pretty good play. Evan Longoria is 3.8, and Brian Anderson is 2.9. I think they're all decent at their price points.
Cheese, third.
I also really like spending up for Ramirez and even kind of Devers. Just that's a spend up to be different with elite bats. Yes. And I like Suarez a lot in tournaments as well. The other kind of cheap FanDuel guy and team in general that I think will be overlooked too much is the Yankees. So I like Josh Donaldson at his FanDuel price.
All right, take us to short.
It's the usual suspects. It's like a pretty long list of pretty good hitters, but none of them are like ideal tonight. I would say on FanDuel, you probably go Bobby Witt first and or Bichette. I like Willy Adames personally, probably the most of this group, especially on DK where he's a lot cheaper. But all of those top like 7 or 8 shortstops are very close to the same guy.
Carty, anything you want to add in?
Yeah, I think Witt's the top guy also. On DK, I'm fine with Adames at his price point. But yeah, after that, it's pretty bunched up with the usual names.
Okay, take us to the outfield, Carty.
All right, so outfield. I like the Marlins guys. I've mentioned a couple of them already, but Avisail Garcia and Jorge Soler on DraftKings are very affordably priced. On DK, Garcia's 2.2, Soler's 2.6, so they're fine plays there also. I don't think any of like the high-end outfielders are like must-haves tonight. I think you're probably playing a lot of cheaper guys, mid-range guys. Tapia is leading off for Toronto for 2K tonight, and he's good. Jordan Luplow is hitting second for Arizona, and he's pretty cheap tonight. Jake McCarthy for Arizona is 2K. Andrew Benintendi is 2.6 on FanDuel, and he's going to be a good play. Nick Castellanos is 2.5K with a platoon advantage against Justin Steele on FanDuel, and he's an awesome play. You have a cheap Hunter Dozier. You have a cheap Brian Anderson. I like Teoscar Hernandez in your Toronto stacks. Outfield is it's kind of weird because like the top guys, like the usual names, like you can play Aaron Judge, but the spot isn't awesome. The spot isn't awesome for Alvarez or Betts or Acuna or any of these guys. So you can play some of them in GPPs, the ones that are going to be lower owned, but like there isn't a whole lot separating them from the mid-tier guys today.
Okay, Cheese, seems like there's good mid-tier, there's good cheapies, and maybe the top guys are coming in under-owned.
Yeah, I really do like Judge, Stanton, and Julio Rodriguez. Those are kind of my 3 spend-ups. But like the names Carty mentioned, especially on FanDuel, like this is why you don't have to go lower than Morton. And it's not even that hard to get Burns and Scherzer because like Castellanos at 25 and like Jesse Winker's 2,400, Benintendi 26, like Jorge Soler and all the Marlins are super cheap. Yeah, that's why like I just don't think there's any reason to punt pitcher on FanDuel. You can get 1 or 2 of the expensive outfielders if you want as well. And he also named a bunch of guys that are essentially minimum salary almost on DK that are like top of the lineup, decent-ish players. So get the pitching first. I think that's the lesson here.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, guys, we've got 7 minutes or so until lock. Ready to take some QQs?
Yes. I want you to take Raj's question first, because that is also my question. And I will just read it. Did
Thanks,
he just say Morton is better than Scherzer? He did say that.
Who is he?
That would be me.
Derek Carty.
Oh, okay. I didn't know who the he was in this case.
Yeah, not in an absolute sense, but today, yes, Morton projects a couple points better than Scherzer. The matchup is way better.
I think like the way you kind of were saying it, like I heard what Raj heard, like Morton's better than Scherzer, period. You're saying today because of the Angels matchup.
Yeah, because
We're
of
all
the
with
Angels
you.
matchup, because of how ridiculously strikeout heavy this lineup
Yes,
is.
that team is nonsense. Okay. We just Raj and I just want to make sure you haven't gone just off.
Full crazy. Yeah. All right. Achilles says, DK Cash, Carty, I'm starting with you. Ketel Marte or Yelich?
Probably could tell.
Okay. DK Single Entry Cheese, Barnes with a Baltimore main stack or Burns Braxton with a Seattle main stack? Oh, so I'm sorry. Max and Barnes with Baltimore or Burns and Braxton with Seattle. I thought he was saying
And
Max.
I'll assume that means Max and Burns.
Yes.
Or Burns. So basically, punt with this. I would go Max, Burns, Baltimore first, but I do like Seattle a lot.
Okay. That was a really confusing question, but good job decoding that. Matt Hack says, hey, looks like the bat loves the Marlins. And yes, the Carty loves the Marlins as well. I can tell. Cheese,
they're facing the weakest pitcher on the slate.
Cheese, you on board with the Marlin stack?
Oh yeah, they're so cheap against a bad pitcher. Yeah.
Okay. FanDuel Cash, Cheese, 2v2, Bobby Witt and Vladdy Daddy or Judge and Moncada?
I would Witt and Vladdy that one.
Mets got Vogelbach. I don't know if you probably saw that. I imagine we'll discuss after lock here. DK Cash, Cheese, you prefer Longo Dongo or Moncada?
I think I would go Moncada there in cash.
Okay. Luke Cage says, is Juan Soto a good spend up in a DK GPP, Carty?
He's fine. He's one of those high end guys that's not really in a good spot, but it's going to be low owned. So sure, if you want to.
Okay. Just a quick update on weather here. There is a thunderstorm less than 2 miles from Truist Park in Atlanta, which I think is great news. I think it means that they're very, very likely to late start. I think it's very, very unlikely that it rains hard enough that they postpone the game. I think it's going to be a late start and play. And so I stand by. I can't promise you everything's going to be fine, but I would not pivot off of anything in Atlanta. I think the odds are in your favor one way or another that it's going to work out for you in Atlanta with both hitters and pitchers. Chinatown, DK Cash, Carty, Walker Teoscar or Vlad and Luplow, or as we call him, Luplow.
Vlad and Luplow.
Okay. Best stack to win a GPP. It's my favorite question, Cheese. You got one stack to win it all. Where are you going?
I'm going Yankees.
Carty, one stack to win it all?
Blue Jays.
Okay. All right. Let's go DK Cash, Carty, Lau and Avisail Garcia or Kennedy and Marte?
Lau and Garcia.
NBA DFS, FanDuel Cash, Cheese, Adames and Luplow or Pena and Ketel Marte. A lot of Ketel Marte coming up here.
Yeah, I mean, he's cheap on FanDuel. I'd like Adames Luplow better, but you don't need to take pinch hit risk in cash. I guess I'd say Pena Marte since it's close.
Okay. All right, let's go to Fick. Carty, it's a DK GPP question. It is a 3v3 around a Marlin stack. Kirk, Bichette, Teoscar, or Kelly Witt, Judge?
I think it's probably Kirk, Bichette, Teoscar. I like that. You get the correlation. I like the Jays quite a bit.
Okay. J Sam's FanDuel GPP Cheese. You like Baum, Hoskins, and Schwarb's mini stack to be a little different? What are your thoughts about the Phillies in general on FanDuel? Thank you. Good weather, I can tell you that.
Yeah, you could certainly argue to put them in like the top 3 or 4 overall on the slate. I don't have them quite that high, but I do like that as a mini stack. And yes, the answer is yes.
Okay. Gamble, I think this is a 1v1. Luplow, Winker, FanDuel GPP. Carty, I'm giving that to you.
I'd probably go Winker. He's lower owned, doesn't have the same pinch hit risk. I'd probably go Winker.
Okay. BHB DK Cash Carty, I'm coming back to you here. Cooper or Pasquantino?
Cooper for sure.
Okay. Raj says, hey, hope all is well. I love how he starts his questions like that. Dave, your favorite low-owned stack is Garrett an option tonight, playing single entry DK GPPs?
I don't think Garrett's really necessary in single entry. I do kind of like him. I have a little bit. But I don't love that in a single entry. And with stacks, like almost everything is low owned. Like I think the Yankees are low owned, which is why I say they're my favorite. I guess Seattle next.
Okay. TARP is on in Atlanta. So even though we don't officially have a late start, we do non-officially have a late start. And again, that's great news. So we're going to get an alert soon that's going to say late start in Atlanta, and people are going to freak out, and you shouldn't, because I think that's exactly what we want to see.
The most glorious thing that could happen would be to lower the pitcher ownership, because those guys are like good chalk. And if you can get it lower, I would be happy.
Yeah, hopefully it comes soon so that people have time to react. And because I guess lock is in 30 seconds, so probably
it is getting close.
Yeah, not a whole lot going on. QQ after lock. I kind of love these questions. I think you guys hate them, but they're fun for me, so I'm going to do it anyways. Any fatigue thoughts for J-Rod and Soto and crew after the home run derby?
No, that's a myth. It's been debunked many, many, many times. That doesn't matter.
Well, there's like this. You're talking about the slump, the post home run derby slump, but this is just like literally day after fatigue or 2 days, whatever it's been.
3 days later, 4 days later, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, and another thing,
Monday, at least Friday.
People take batting practice every day. Like it's not that unusual that they hit extra baseballs. Like that, people hit baseballs every day.
Sure, they don't try to hit them that hard.
I think they do. You think
they might?
Let me practice the single down the line. No,
I actually have no idea. I haven't taken batting practice since I was 7 years old. So, all right, let's see. Cheese, you like Gallo in your Yankee stack in FanDuel? Sure.
Yeah, like is such a weird word to use with Joey Gallo, but yes, I mean. The guy who just every once in a while will accidentally hit 2 home runs for free is interesting.
Yeah. But we'll probably strike out 3 times.
Right. Yeah. I have a post-lock question for Carty. Tyler Wells in particular is pitching tonight, but like all these Baltimore pitchers that are just suddenly like kind of like almost good. Like, does the bat buy into any of like Wells or Kramer or even Spencer Watkins? Like they're all just like, something's going on over there. Like, and I noticed, like, I mean, you weren't really that high on the Yankees. I don't know. The
bat actually thinks Wells is a pretty good pitcher. It's not taking into like account fully like stuff improvements yet. You know, by this time next year, it almost certainly will be. But the Baltimore front office is like completely revamped in the last few years. It's like a lot of the old like Houston guys, and like they're a very smart organization now. It seems like, so it's not surprising to maybe see some of this type of thing.
Yeah, it's all weird. Like all these guys, like you just glance at it and it's like they should all be terrible, but kind of under the surface, like they're all almost kind of okay. Even Spencer Watkins isn't as terrible as I first thought he was. I mean, I
know last year the bat thought Spencer Watkins was basically the worst pitcher in the entire game. I'd have to see what it thinks of him now, but like it still probably thinks he's pretty bad.
Yeah. And it's like, and then their ballpark changes are so perfect for all these guys. Like they like these, it's almost like a Cleveland type thing. Like they like the strike throwing fly ball guys. It seems to be working. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
We do officially have a late start in Atlanta, so now I will just, pray that the game doesn't get rained out. It probably won't get rained out. I don't think we should do anything about it. So, someone said Roth is right again. Oh, pump the brakes, maybe. We're not right until that game plays uninterrupted. But I feel right about the choice, and the choice is that you just, you hold everything there and, assume it doesn't get rained out because it probably won't. Okay. That's fun. That's fun. Hey, let's talk about the trade. Vogelbach. The only thing I know about that dude is that he's very big.
That's like his main talent.
That's his main thing. He's a very big guy. I saw him running from third to home once.
What's weird, like he's probably not even going to be an everyday player. Like he won't even be there in the lineup against lefties. Like he's one of those guys on a team like Pittsburgh. He's kind of DFS useful because he's like going to hit cleanup. But the Mets, he'll be like hit eighth and be a pinch hit risk. It's not really great for us, probably.
Okay, interesting. All right. Fix says, I saw Mark McGwire taking BP at Mets spring training the year after he set the home run record, and in his first pitch, he bunted. So there you go. Not always swinging for the fences. Okay. I think with that, we can get out of here. I will be monitoring this Atlanta situation. I'll post another tweet here before that game. But my current thought is just like, let's just let these storms die out and let's play some baseball and let's not flood. So with that, we are going to get on out of here. So for Carty, for Cheese, and for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes, guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crushed.